us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Mr. and Mrs. E.
Launch sequence activated. Prepare for light speed.
Keeping the missing relevant with Mr. E, Mrs. E. Let's not forget the sweet and E, and of course the best grandee, unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
Auntie, is that you? Yes. Bring in the crime dogs. It's time.
Unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Mr. E Crimecast. I am Mr. E. I'm joined tonight by Mrs. E, our guest, Auntie, and a special guest. We've been been anxious to have you on for a long time, but Detective Dan, good to see you, Dan.
Good to be here.
I appreciate you coming in and joining us. Thanks to everybody for being patient with us. And we started a little later, but we're excited about doing this. Got a lot planned for tonight. Of course, I want to thank Angel of Light and Justice Jane, Wow Wowzer, Melissa, so Dreaming of Blue Skies, Kiki, Desi Brown Eyes, let's see, Me and You, 564, Lisa King. Appreciate everybody joining us here tonight. So, of course, today is the 2-year anniversary of the disappearance of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, who disappeared in the county that we live in. So it's a story that we've always been kind of attached to and have been following since we started our channel. And so this would be the 2-year anniversary, the last time he was seen by anyone. And then he was reported missing the following day on the 26th of February. But Mrs. E, Auntie, anything y'all want to kind of talk about before we get going here?
Nothing that I can think of. I think we've kind of been eager to pick Detective Dan's brain and see what he thinks about the case, and kind of let him know all the stuff that we know, and see if he has any of the same conclusions that we have.
Yeah, and Mrs. E, because of microphone reasons, is actually on the back porch there. She's got the little fire and the little rain in the background.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds great to me. I actually like the porch as a part of the setup there. I think it looks nice. But
I've got a fireplace. I'm good.
Yeah.
I did want to ask for prayers for Middle E. We had to run to the hospital this afternoon. He's feeling better, but he definitely needs your continued prayers, and we would really appreciate that.
Yeah. So we anything that happens, with everything he's going through, we just, you can't take any chances. So we just wanted to get him to the doctor today, but I think he's doing better than he was this morning. And so we appreciate the prayers on all of that. So like I said, we have Detective Dan here. If I know we've been talking about it for a few weeks, having him in, but if you haven't kind of heard us talk about Dan before, I've known Dan for, I don't know, 25 years or something like that. He was a Metro
You've known him
detective
longer than you've known me.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. A few years before I met you. And you okay, Dan?
I hope so.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. It might be dry in our house or something like that too. I've definitely got the tickle.
I don't know. I've been coughing today for I think sinuses or something.
It's the rain coming in and all that stuff too. And
but my eyes are pouring and I'm coughing.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything's great.
Everything's good. So anyway, Dan and I have been good friends for years, and I knew Dan when he was still a detective in Nashville, and he was also part-time, kind of cop by day and stand-up comic by night. And then a few years later, you basically went full-time into stand-up comedy, and we'll get into all that about why you ended up leaving the law enforcement behind. But you were a detective, I think, for 18 years? Is that
14 years? Well,
I
you counted CSU as it was plain clothes, but it wasn't detective. But I was undercover for 4 years, and then 14 years in armed robbery, and I did 2 years in patrol.
Is that what suppression unit meant?
Crime suppression.
Okay.
Yes.
Crime
Yes,
suppression. That means undercover.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was going to ask you because I didn't know what that. I didn't know you ever did undercover work.
Oh yeah, that was. Excuse me.
I knew that.
The absolute most fun I ever had on the police department.
I listen to a lot of police officers on podcasts and stuff, and that's usually what they say, that they love to undercover stuff. So what did you typically try to infiltrate?
Well, we didn't do long-term investigations. We did very short-term investigations, which meant like certain areas of town are very heavy into coke sales, cocaine and crack.
Sure.
We had a car, we'd wire and drive in, and they would just come running out and what you need, and you'd say a 20.
Yeah.
and you'd have the money, and as soon as they dropped the rock in your hand and you gave them the bill, you would say a code word, which meant I've got the dope.
Yeah.
And he's got the money. And right when you said that code word, there would be cars around the neighborhood, and they would immediately floor it and head that way. And you would try to reach out and grab a hold of them, to hold on to them, to give the other officers, a minute to catch up.
Yeah.
And it was pretty fun.
I bet that was fun.
It was terrifying the first 50 times, but after that, it like anything, like people, I guess, jump out of an airplane, you're probably scared the first few times.
Right.
But after a while, it was just exciting instead of terrifying. It was exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet that was. And then so after you did 4 years of that, then you were detective for 14 years up through about 2004 or so?
2005.
2005. Yeah. And in 2001, you were investigator of the year in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was largely because of a serial robber and SA. We use those initials usually because YouTube doesn't like certain terms.
Right.
But a real monster this guy was.
Very bad guy. Very bad. And he had done, well, we kind of worked in armed robbery under the assumption everybody is a serial robber. Nobody goes out and just robs one place.
One time.
And I was like, all right, that done it. I'm good.
Yeah.
If they do it, they'll keep doing it till they get caught. And if they do it a certain way, they'll generally do it that same way because that's what worked last time.
Right.
And he had already done a few. And then all of a sudden, one day he did, I think, 6 in a row. I've never seen that in my whole entire
in a day?
Within 30 minutes.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Wow.
We're on Nolensville Road. He robbed a place at Nolensville, closer to Thompson Lane, Nolensville and Thompson. And I mean, police are arriving at this one, and he's robbing one a quarter mile down the street.
Wow.
He's robbing something else. Then he robbed another one, and he worked his way down. He got all the way past Haywood Lane, and it was a shoe repair store. And he came in with the gun, and the guy behind the counters looking at the gun, and he thought, that don't look real. And he pulled his gun out, and that shut him down that day. And it was probably just a few weeks after that, we wound up finding out who he was. Basically, a stolen car. He used stolen cars a lot. There was a fingerprint on a Coke can in the back, and it came to him, and he had a warrant for something, an old case, but that was all we had.
Yeah.
And I went to talk to him about the warrant. And when I'm talking to him in his room, one of the robberies was a lady, and he took her ring. And I would always ask every little thing I could, a description. And she said, I said, was there anything unusual about the ring? It's just a gold ring, but it has a little pig engraved on the inside of it.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there talking to him, and I'm looking behind him on his dresser, and I see the ring, and I see the pig inside the ring. And I'm like, finally, this is over.
This is my guy.
That was just like, okay. Cause this guy was, he was torturing people, He did some bad things, and just crazy stuff. And it was just a relief to know that it's over, even though he hadn't been handcuffed yet or anything. And, of course, we got him in custody, took him downtown, and I think I interviewed him for about 4.5 hours.
Wow.
And he was, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And
what's your interrogation style?
Try to be, you can't go in hard on them. You can't bow up on them. You can't. You got to just talk to them. And if you can cut up with them a little bit, that's better. But I would, this guy, Supreme Court said police can use deceit, so.
Right.
Well, this is you on this video. No, that ain't me. And the video is so grainy, But I said, well, we got your fingerprint off the cash register. Well, I did go in that store and I did touch that cash register drawer, but that ain't me robbing. But he's put himself there. So you're just trying to get them to give just enough to put themselves there. And
so even though you didn't actually have his fingerprint on that register, by you deceiving him, he admitted that he was there touching the register. Right. So that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. I need to thank Sharon Marlowe had gifted us 5 memberships. So thank you very much for doing that, Sharon. I lost her here. I don't think I can pull it up, but I do appreciate the support there. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to. There you go. Thank you, Sharon. We appreciate you very much. So that's some of those things, those techniques, what works for you as an investigator and things like that, but people will be interested to hear about. Of course, and for the last 20 years or so, you've been on the road as a stand-up comic. Mm-hmm. Before that, though, you entered a contest and won World's Funniest Cop.
World's Funniest Cop. And in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
There weren't a whole lot of cops that were doing comedy back then.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a whole lot of competition, but the very next year, Jay Leno hosted it, and it was in California, and there were comedians everywhere.
Yeah.
I think I came in 3rd then, but
right.
But still.
You won it once, and you've got the title for life. It's like
exactly.
It's like being champ.
Miss America.
Once you're champ, you're champ,
Yeah.
But that's always been a cool thing to have,
yeah.
On your head, resume and all of that. And you've done lots of cool stuff over the last few years. I of course, I keep up with you. I know you've been, when Mike Huckabee had that show, you were a regular there, doing a warm up for him, been touring with Killer Bees. Mm-hmm. He's a great, funny guy.
Yeah.
You're doing some gigs with him at the end of March, which we'll plug all that a little later too. Dan's got his book, let's see, World's Funniest Compilation. So if you ever catch Dan live, he's got those at the shows for sale, right?
Yeah.
These chapters are hilarious too.
Honey, I forgot to thank Sharon Marlowe properly, and also Sweet Melissa has renewed her membership. So I want to do that real quick.
Thank you, Sweet Melissa.
But I want to say thank you to you. I haven't had an orthodox career, and I've wanted more than anything to have your respect. The first time I didn't feel it, but this time I feel it, and I can't deny the fact that you like me. Right now, you like me.
I just love that.
So thank you, Melissa and Sharon, very much. Some of the chapters in Dan's book are I've got to get out of this place. You're not supposed to laugh in a court of law. Who's snitching? He made me whoop myself. Big Jimmy don't like snakes. They never just quit on their own. Sometimes I'm not a nice person. Curious what that chapter is about.
Oh, I remember that.
And with apologies to my mother is how you finish out the book. So looking forward to reading all that later. So and then another thing I saw you of course you did a lot of classes being a detective, and one of the ones you did is scientific content analysis, which is basically a deception kind of course, right?
It's on how to pick up when people are lying. And I took a lot of classes, but that was the one that really was just fascinating. It was 2 weeks. So it was 8 hours a day, every day for 2 weeks. And it was just amazing. I couldn't believe how reliable it was, but they call it it's almost like a lie detector, but you have people write out statements.
Right.
And the theory is that when you start writing out a statement, your brain, you can control the first line or two, but as you continue writing, your brain is going to search for the correct word.
Okay.
And it does it. You can't stop it from doing that. Your brain is like a thesaurus. It's going to pick the right word, even if the right word is not the one you want to say. For instance, do you remember the Perry March case?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. We had him do that. We had just taken the class not long, but a few weeks before.
There's a famous crime here in Nashville.
Famous crime here in Nashville. But he wrote, he said his wife basically left him and will write out what the day was like in like 20-minute increments, what your day was like. And it was me and Janet this, me and Janet that, and then Janet's leaving. We're standing at the front door. Our children are upstairs, and she decides she's going to leave. And she goes out the door, and I go upstairs and take care of my children. It was no longer their children.
It was my children. Because she's not around.
But he had no idea he was saying that.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it happened a lot. And they would, he said, somebody said, well, what about OJ? OJ do it? And he goes, absolutely he did it. He said he wrote a book and he would say, I can't believe people think I did it.
Uh-huh.
But he never really said, hey, I did not do it.
Right.
And the girl, what was it? The dingoes ate your baby.
Right.
He said, she didn't do it. He said, she wrote a book. She says it 42 times. I did not kill my kids,
Right.
But yeah, it was very weird how that stuff kind of works.
Yeah. I believe we study a lot of people that do that and do the statement analysis and all that kind of thing. I think it's very reliable.
Yeah, I do.
One little thing, maybe, but when you got 20 of them kind of start to stack up and line up, then it tells you something,
And there are people that you've got to be incredibly good to do it verbally, to be listening to somebody talking and pick up on things. Except like the Susan Smith where, my kids, they were such good. Okay. When somebody says were and it's your child, that's a big red flag.
The past tense people. Yeah.
Well, we've got some interviews to show you.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
So let's get into the Sebastian Rogers case. I mean, you've had to have heard about it a little bit.
I've heard about it, but I've not really,
you don't know the timeline or the nuts and bolts. So perfect. So what we thought we'd do, kind of go through the case, what we know, show you just different things. Try not to skew your opinion much, and kind of see what you see. And if anything stands out to you as we kind of go through certain things. And of course, if people in the chat have questions at all, Mrs. E, Auntie, if y'all would stop me and help us, with questions, because I do have some. There's some procedural stuff that I'm curious about, like especially on warrants and probable cause and what it takes to, what does that mean where's that line on probable cause and a warrant and seizing people's property, things like that. I'm just kind of curious about how that all works. But so first of all, let's just get into the I'm gonna pull up Sebastian's flyer here.
Also, don't forget that I have some questions that our members submitted previously. So at one point, I'd like to do that. I'm saying later on. I'm just saying, don't forget that I have those.
Sure. So there's Sebastian's flyer there. So Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, he's been missing since February 26, 2024. I think the most recent picture on that flyer is the one on the far right where he's holding the shoes. He has brown or hazel eyes. He has blonde or brown hair. He's 5'5", 120 pounds, male, white. And he has a few different disabilities. He has autism, and then he has a chromosome deletion disorder. He has some ties to Clarksville, Tennessee. He was living in Hendersonville when he disappeared. He was last seen on February 25th, 2024, at his home on Stafford Court in Hendersonville. According to his parents, he was wearing a black sweatshirt, sweatpants, black square-framed glasses. And of course, they have the contact information. If you know anything about Sebastian, 615-451-3838 is Sumner County. You could call 1-800-TBI-FIND, or just call 911 if you see him out there. That always works too. So we're at the 2-year mark.
Right.
So for me, the reason that me and my wife got interested in this is he lives in our county, has autism, and my son a few times had wandered off from the house where we had lost him, and that happens sometimes with the autistic kids. So that's what we just assumed had happened here. And so we're, each day we're kind of watching the news, like, I hope they find this kid, thinking maybe he's wandered a few miles down the road. They're going to find him in a tree house or something like that. And then, days go by, and then you start to, it was a massive search. I mean, it was over 1,000 people, helicopters, right. Horseback. They had the whole, it was an incredible effort. So I'm going to give you a little bit of the timeline of how things went. So he lives with his biological mother and stepfather here in Hendersonville. His biological dad, they've been divorced about 10 years at this point, and he was living in Clarksville. So mom takes him to kind of several errands that day. He ends up going to a bowling alley. They're at a what's the name of the box store?
BJ.
Oh,
BJ's had just opened up, and he'd been at BJ's earlier the day. They went to dinner at Texas Roadhouse and then went home. According to the mom, he takes the trash out around 7:00, goes to bed at 9. Sometime around 10:00, she says she hears a thud or thump in the room, tells him to go to bed, stop messing around. He's like, yes, ma'am. And then she doesn't hear from him again. The mom says she goes to bed sometime maybe around midnight. And in that 3-hour span of 9 to midnight, she had been on the phone with her husband, who was in Memphis on work. He's like a crane operator. Exactly how long that phone call is, we can't quite narrow it down, but it's somewhere between 9 and midnight. Pretty lengthy phone call, we think. Maybe in 2 hours or so. Next morning, 6:00, it's Monday. So she goes in to wake up Sebastian, and he's gone. So she's searching around. A few minutes later, she calls her husband. I can't find Sebastian. About a half hour goes by before they call police. And they don't call 911. They call someone at the Sumner County office, which people kind of wonder, why would you call 911? They later say, well, we just figured we'd bypass all the 911, go straight to the county because we're out of the city limits. And, they've got a reason for that. And then when they come out, then it's a missing person, and a huge search happens and all of that. Is that all making sense so far on the timeline? So at that point, it's an endangered child alert on that first day, the 26th. On the 27th, though, TBI upgrades the case to a statewide Amber Alert. And Amber Alerts in Tennessee, of course, are rare, and they have to be, there's a certain criteria for them, that there has to be some sign of abduction, foul play, and that they've got a reason to believe that the child is in danger. So that happens on the 27th. On the 29th, they drain a local pond. They don't find anything. And then like a week has gone by and nothing. And it becomes a huge story here. March 4th, by March 4th, they had covered 2,000 miles and had started to scale back 2,000. Yeah, it says it's 2,000 miles here. But anyway, they had started to scale back the search and went more investigative, is what they claimed. On the 7th, though, it leaks in the news that they're searching a landfill in Kentucky, which is where their neighborhood garbage would go. We don't know how long they've been searching there, how many days that lasted. We don't know if they found anything, what took them to that landfill, but that happened on the 7th. And then, after that, it's kind of becomes more like in April, there's a pair of glasses found. I think might be Sebastian's, but it's not. There's several false sightings. There was a kid in North Carolina that looked a lot like him. Didn't turn out to be him. At the half-year mark of his disappearance, FBI offered a $50,000 reward. And that's kind of where it's at. Some key stuff that came out later is that Sebastian left with no shoes, or at least all of his shoes were accounted for. No jacket, didn't take any money, no cell phone. And his home is in a fairly, upper middle class type of neighborhood. He's right in the center and not caught on camera anywhere. The mom installs security for a living, and their cameras, for whatever reason, were not working that night. So they have no personal footage. And there's cameras all around that neighborhood, but they don't have street lights. So some of the footage that has come out has been really dark and just nothing. They can't catch him leaving the house. We had a personal friend that we called who knew the family, and just to kind of say, hey, what, we want to pray for them, is there anything we can do, that kind of stuff. And we don't even know these people's names, because at that time their names weren't out in the public, the parents. And she said, well, I know that he left without his shoes, and that the dogs, their scent has not gone past the driveway off the property. And so it's just been a puzzling, baffling mystery for everybody since. Is there anything just kind of in all of that kind of part of it that sticks out to you, or makes you have any questions about?
Well, it's nothing is an absolute, but if there was a convenience store robbery, when I worked armed robbery, if I was a convenience store robbery and they were like, man, turns out the camera wasn't on. Okay. When you find out how much money was taken, it's like, well, we forgot to make our drops. So we had more money. So you had more money than normal, and the cameras weren't working. Sometimes more than 50% of the time, it's what we would call a roll your own. And the description was always male black, 6 foot, dark clothing.
Right.
I don't know why they would never change that, but
yes.
But and we would convict them of it. We would eventually get a confession. Generally, we'd interview them and talk to them. But if when those things happen, not every time though. It's possible your camera not works, a guy comes in, robs you. That can happen.
Right.
But it's just different. It makes you wonder.
Right.
That was, I guess, the main thing. It just makes you wonder.
Roll your own was the phrase you said.
We called it. Roll your own. Yeah.
Does that basically mean an inside job?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's robbing yourself, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And there's also roll your owns, what we called roll your owns, where somebody does come in and rob the store, but you know who it is, and they're going to split the money with you later.
Right.
And I had an informant tell me about a guy. I said, there's a robbery you're working, and he knew the guy that robbed him. And he said it was a black guy, but it was a white guy. And I put a photo lineup together with all 6 pictures of the guy that I knew did it.
Yeah.
And I just because I was just messing with him at that point. I knew I.
So your lineup is all 6 pictures are the same guy.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Different. He had several arrests, so it's different pictures. But
from 2 years ago and 4 years ago, and
he knew that I knew at that point.
Hilarious.
And he wound up admitting, yeah, that's the guy that. But he gave a different description and everything. But
yeah, well, actually, that is one of the things that I doing this the last few years has shocked me. How many? A lot of it is confessions. A lot of the work is getting somebody to put them under pressure or whatever happens to make them crack and give it up.
Just you just keep talking to them, and that's one thing I know. I don't follow a whole lot of the current crimes. Like I did watch some of your stuff on this case here because it was interesting. But
yeah,
I'm big on. I love Jim Can't Swim. That's a channel,
okay.
JCS, and it is detectives interviewing suspects. And I watch them all the time. I love them, and because I'm critiquing them, and I lay in bed at night and I'll be listening to them. And I'll hear a detective make a mistake. I'm like, oh, you shouldn't have done that,
Okay.
But then I hear other times, I'm like, oh, that was a good one, And
right.
There's some really fascinating cases out there on YouTube.
You sent me one last year.
Oh, the female police officer?
Yes. It was great. It was great. Where they had her, and she didn't know.
Right.
She didn't know that she was there for an interrogation, actually.
Yep.
She thought she was like, why am I here? This isn't an interrogation, is it? Oh, no, we're just talking. They kept her. Off. Yeah, they kept her.
And then they'd crank it up. And you don't want to keep backing off. You want to eventually crank it up,
Right.
And it's that one, and another really good one's the lieutenant colonel with the Canadian Air Force that was a serial killer.
Wow.
He flew Margaret Thatcher at one time on his plane. He was a big deal. And
gosh, what was the name of this channel you listened to these on?
JCS. They call it Jim Can't Swim. And I think he got his channel shut down for some reason.
Really?
So it'll say Jim Can't Swim Tribute or JCS adjacent.
Okay.
But there's some really good ones. And you can see the way they start out one way, and you just keep putting a little bit more pressure on, and you want to at least get them locked into a story. You got to get them into a story, then you can pick that story apart. But you got to get them into the story. You got to get them to at least come up and say something.
Well, this is something we don't, with the Sebastian Rogers case. This is something we don't know. We don't know what that's been like. We don't know how, if all 3 parents were interrogated separately at different times, or other family members outside of them even. We just don't know what that situation is.
Right.
But we do know that they've done lots and lots of social media interviews and news interviews.
Yeah. So I have some pulled up. Let me you want to do let's do one of the early interviews.
I think every interview has things in it that you're just like, whoa, just some red flags that we've picked out along the way with the case. We've had hundreds of them now,
but we're not going to skew. Yeah. We're going to let him listen.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But you hearing it, someone that's not heard it, I would love to see what you pick up on that we did or didn't, or agreed with or don't agree with.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me give me just a moment. Oh, this was the first one I'm going to pull up. Why can't I do this?
I don't know.
I want to.
Do I need to come?
I don't know. It keeps wanting to add just that.
Okay, I'll be right there.
Do you need to pull that one down?
Yeah, I want to remove it.
Okay. Okay. And then.
And
All right, I'll be right there.
Sorry. I'm not the technical whiz out of the crew. If that's
Me
not
either.
Are you sharing that from another screen?
I'm trying to, yeah.
I was going to say you need to take that off completely because there's not another spot
Maybe
for it
I
to
can.
open. If you can
maybe
just click out of wherever that's at
Maybe I
on
can
another
just
tab,
delete
empty
it.
that tab. Now you should be able
Oh,
to present.
I
See,
might have.
with 4 of us on here, and you only have room to add one thing, so you have to take it completely off.
Gotcha. So I just all right. How's that?
Yes.
Okay. So
Perfect.
this will actually, we can focus just on the words, Dan, because in this interview, this is Katie, the mom, and the stepdad. And this is, everyone has referred to this as the hands interview because they did not want their faces on camera. But this was less than a week after Sebastian disappeared. I think this is the first mainstream interview they did.
Okay.
Okay, that might be right. So anyway, it's very early on.
One of the first ones.
Yeah, Well, anyway, it's and of course we think the most valuable information is probably stuff that was said at the beginning. There, interviews they do 2 years later. But my thinking is just that by then people kind of can work out their stories and they know where the flaws are. It's easier to kind of catch people in these contradictions and lies.
So this is the biological mother and the stepfather.
Yes. So this we'll play this, and if there's anything you want to just stop at, we'll just stop.
Okay.
Chris, Chris, last name's Proudfoot, Proudfoot.
So, I mean, first, just as parents, tell me what the last now over a week has been like for you two.
Horrible beyond words. This was an experience that I would have never dreamed would come, honestly.
Oops. Sorry.
Hard this has been, and how much it hurts not knowing where my son is, where he's at, if he's okay. Just horrible is the best thing I can say.
What about for you?
It's rough. I mean, we are on day 11, no answers. And the horrible things that people say just keep rolling in, regardless of taking time to consider the facts and, assumptions is what they're going off of. But, for us, we sit here and we wait, and hopefully we'll get an answer, or hopefully he walks through our door, which would be amazing.
I was going to say, how badly do you both want Sebastian to just walk through that front door to get that call?
I'd give anything. In a heartbeat, I would give anything.
It's not measurable. Let's put it that way. There's no measurable. Anybody says, oh, it is. You've never sat in these shoes. You've never been in this situation. And I don't ever wish for people to be in this situation.
And what's Sebastian like? What's his personality like? What does he love to do?
He, for the most part, is happy. He likes to laugh and joke and tell you all about everything and then some. He loves games. He loves video games. He loves to play with his Legos. Even building things with me. We build little projects here and there, but he's always a character.
Are there any weird tendencies that he has that might be able to help people find him in this search?
I don't know how helpful to finding him, but he fidgets constantly. He loves shiny pennies, paper clips. He's always like, whenever we go to the grocery store, he always looks on the ground and looks under the register counter, and he's always looking for shiny pennies everywhere. Paper clips. He loves to bend them out of shape and play with them, fidget with them. He loves playgrounds. I mean, we've said it before, he likes fishing and things like that, but
cats. Boy loves cats.
He does. He loves cats. It's his favorite animal. I don't know. He's a good kid.
There are no leads, nothing caught on video. Your son has been missing for 11 days now. How does that make you feel as parents?
I mean, I don't have words to describe how I'm feeling right now. I mean, every day is harder than the last. I mean, we're out, we're looking, we're trying to make sure that everyone stays looking and doesn't let his face fall to the bottom of a feed or get covered by some other nonsense. I mean, we just want our boy home.
When you walked in Monday morning and didn't see Sebastian.
Just curious, Dan, anything at this point kind of jump out at you, or what do you think?
Not really. No, not really.
Yeah.
Honey,
I'm sorry.
I just feel like there might be a better interview.
Okay.
No, just wondered.
Yeah, we could pull up anything.
Well, like where they're telling, what happened.
I couldn't find that interview.
Which one?
Do you mean the first Holly Thompson?
Yeah, let me see.
Also, the Duchess interview had a lot of information too.
I could see people, being very upset that the cameras weren't on. It's their house and it's their cameras. Why? I mean, I would have probably expected them to be, man, what's the deal, with the cameras?
Don't you think it's odd though that they don't? I mean, they gave their name, but that they don't want to be seen. I mean, if you think about the Riley Strain case and those parents, they were out on the media and the news every day begging for any information, and these people want to keep their identities hidden.
That is unusual. Matter of fact, I can't say I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
the hands thing was a little weird to people, for sure. She's right. There are better interviews as far as kind of where they. But this was just one of the earlier ones that I could find.
Romy too said that Smiley story one was a good one as well.
Smiley.
It is. I have a compilation video that we made, or that I made, that talks about their Sunday.
Okay.
I don't know if that helps, but it's got some of the Holly Thompson in it. But it's really, I don't know. So you had a difficult time finding
I've got the Smiley one up if you want to do the Smiley one.
Yeah, let's do that one.
Several people are asking for that one.
Yeah, that was a good interview. So Smiley's was maybe a month after the disappearance. 3 weeks, a month, somewhere like that, I think.
And Smiley
she's a true crime YouTuber.
Okay.
And Chris and Katie both went on her channel. She wasn't really expecting it, so she didn't have like questions prepared or anything like. I think they were actually on another YouTube stream, and then they said, "Well, why don't we go to your channel and we'll do an interview?" And so it was kind of an impromptu, but there was a lot of good information from it.
And the people interviewed are
the mom and the stepdad, the same hands people. So
this looks like Smiley's reviewing her interview.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know then. Oh, yeah, it's a recap of her interview, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, it might be fine.
It might be. Well, let's just see what happens here.
Maybe we could just start there. Would that be okay?
Yeah, I think Chris is still trying to join as well.
Okay. I didn't know if he was. Yeah, I didn't know.
A lot of people are accusatory when we speak. Oh, it's a lie. Oh, it's not us. And
see, it's right there. Yeah. Well,
the truth is no matter what any of y'all think, I didn't do anything to my son. My husband didn't do anything to my son. We love him dearly, and we are doing everything that we can to try and find him and bring him home. And his father loves him dearly as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of questions that people have and a lot of what ifs. And
yeah, she sounded mad.
I know sometimes it's tough. I mean, I've seen a lot of cases like this, and I know, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. Let me say that. I would not want to be in your shoes.
I wouldn't want anybody to have to be in my shoes, to be honest with you. It's nothing any parent should ever have to go through.
Right. I've seen in my own family, I've actually had a runaway and I ended up murder, and I know it's not the same. It's not my child. Although I have lost a child, and this is not about me, it's about Sebastian. But I will tell you, nobody should have to sit in your shoes. There's not words that I can say. But also I do have an autistic son, and I know many do.
That's
drop her link again.
Did she drop off?
I'm dropping it again. I think she's having a bad signal. I don't know where she's at. She may be where she can't get the signal good. Here she is back. Okay, Katie. Okay, there you go. Sorry about that. And you may have a bad signal somewhere. I don't know if you're having like rain or anything, but it keeps going in and out, but that's okay. But anyway, the main thing is people just have a lot of questions and just trying to make sense of everything. And you're here. Okay, Chris, I'm dropping the link again. I told nobody not to get it but you. Here you go, sir. Oh, drop again. Sorry. There you go. If you'll just click on that. But I do, still with anything that we personally go through, there's nothing, it's not the same. And I understand that. And so I am very sorry. I'm very sorry for you all three of you. I can feel when his dad talks, Seth, I can feel that pain. And it's just different. I'm not trying again to accuse, like I said, anybody. I'm just trying to make sense of everything. And that's all I can say. I can't be fake. I have to be honest,
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Are you there?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Can we hang on just a second? I want to do mine.
Okay.
Because let's see.
I got it here. Okay. I'm going to pause it. Stop sharing.
I'm sharing mine.
Okay. Without the commentary on top. I didn't realize it was a recap like that.
Well, I think this is a good
recap.
Okay, what are you pulling up? Oh, I see.
Is this the compilation?
Yes.
Yeah. I forgot you made this.
So I guess I will just kind of start out with tell me what happened the day that Sebastian went missing. I know that his mom said that he was having a good day. He had had a great weekend. So do you want to walk us through what that looks like again for everybody?
He did have a really good weekend, actually. When we come home from having supper that evening, he was playing. When he went to bed, when I told him to go to bed, he said, "I love you, Mama," and he said, "I love you, puppies." A little later in the evening, I myself went to bed, and when I went to wake him up for school, he wasn't here.
And you did tell me that Sebastian is not a runner.
He's not.
It's okay. Take your time.
Sebastian does not have a history of running. The young man doesn't go outside very much. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood knows him. He is very to himself, so to speak. Between the hours of 12 and 6, he has basically vanished. Walked out of the house, the door was locked, and gone.
He didn't take the phone. None of his shoes are missing.
Now, you told me that night that, now, Chris, you were at work. You were out of town at work,
Yes,
so you were not even home.
Correct, ma'am.
And Mom, you fell asleep on the couch about 10 o'clock, but you said that Sebastian went to bed at 9 p.m. And then you got up off the couch and you went to bed, and you said that was around midnight. And nothing was unusual at that point. Everything seemed okay.
There's actually a piece of, so to make something very crystal clear, so that way there's transparency across the board. Me and the mom were on the phone at 9:43 or 9:46 in the evening. We stayed on the phone for quite some time. The call logs have been verified by all the police departments, TBI included. We stayed on the phone. It was very lengthy. Mom did slightly start falling asleep while she was on the couch. I had said, "Hey, you need to wake up, put the dogs up, go to bed." Now, mind you, that was right around midnight, just before midnight or right around midnight.
We were out and about that day. We were having a really good weekend. We got home. Everything was pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom. I love you." Say goodnight to his puppies. A little bit later, I wound up going to bed. Sunday, we were out and about. We had a really good day. We were out doing our thing, running around. We had dinner that evening. And when we came home, we had a pretty good evening together as well. He was playing right up until bedtime, and then some. I let him stay up a little late. And when I told him to go to bed, he's like, "I love you, Mom. I love you, puppies." And he went to bed. And I went to bed around midnight. Everything seemed fine.
missing?
Yeah. Sunday morning, I'll just start at the morning. Sunday morning, we got up and I made a fun breakfast for us. Spaghetti pancakes. Google it, y'all. We FaceTime family while we were eating so he could brag because that's something he likes to do. And we were laughing and joking on FaceTime and having a good time with that. After breakfast, we got a call to go pick up our niece and go take her to meet up. So we did that. We went and picked her up and we met her mama at BJ's. And we were there with family members. We come home and put our groceries away. And then a little bit later, we went to the bowling alley, a local bowling alley here, and we played games. And then and this is just Bubba and I, and we went to dinner, just the two of us, and then come home. He took the trash out because that's his chore. And he come in and he was playing in his room until bedtime. And at bedtime, I told him, I said, hey, Bubba, it's time to go to bed. And he goes, okay, good night, Mama, I love you. And then he said good night to his puppies. And he went to bed.
Okay, and walk me through what happened. You said that you were on a phone call, you were on the couch, and then you went to bed at midnight. Walk me through exactly what transpired during that time before you went to bed at midnight for you.
So, my husband, he works out of town a lot. So we normally sit and talk every evening. And I normally fall asleep on him. And he'll tell me, wake up, you got to go to bed. And and that was right around midnight. So I got up and I put the puppies up and I went to bed myself at midnight. And, I went to sleep, obviously. Sunday, the day before he went missing, we got up and, fun fact, I made breakfast that morning. We had a good time. We were laughing, we were joking. He talked to family on the phone during breakfast to brag. We went and picked up our niece.
Yes,
I got a call and asked if I could go and pick her up, and I did. And so we went and did that. We went to BJ's. Had a good time there. He ate a colossal popcorn. Came home to put groceries away because we bought snacks because he's 15 and snacks. We went to the bowling alley, and then from there we went to dinner. Came home. He took out the trash because that's his chore. He takes the can to the end of the driveway. About 9 o'clock. Told him to go to bed. And come out of his room where he was playing. He said, all right, good night, Mama. Good night, puppies. I love you. And went to bed. He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise and I was like, I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep. And about midnight I got up and I went to bed.
Katie, let me ask you, the night of Sunday night, when you said there was a noise, what type of noise do you think that was that you heard?
I'm not honestly sure. It sounded like he was messing with stuff in his room, which was not uncommon, which is why I said, hey, I don't know what you're doing in there, but you're supposed to go to sleep.
Okay. So you didn't check on him at that time, but did you check on him at midnight? Did you flip the light on and look to see if he was in the bed at midnight when you got up to go to bed?
No, and because I didn't have any reason to. You know, when he was little, I used to check on him all the time, but he's older now and he's 15, and y'all can figure out why a mother may not want to necessarily pop into a teenage boy's room unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Goes missing. Miss Proudfoot, I understand that the day before, which would have been Sunday, if I've got the information correct, that you guys went out, you went to dinner, you went to somewhere, I believe you said BJ's, where he had a, quote, colossal popcorn. Then you came home that night, and around 9 p.m., you tell Sebastian to go to bed. He says, okay, and goes to his room. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That night, I understand from previous statements you've made that you went to bed around midnight. Is that correct?
It is.
And to you, Mr. Proudfoot, Chris Proudfoot, did you also go to bed at midnight or before or after?
No, ma'am. We went to bed around the same time as we were on the phone together.
And please excuse any of my questions. I'm simply trying to find out more about that night. Do you two sleep in the same bedroom?
He wasn't actually in the home at all that weekend.
You were not home.
No,
okay.
ma'am.
So where were you, Mr. Proudfoot?
I was in Memphis, Tennessee.
How far away is that?
3 hours and 37 minutes from doorstep to doorstep.
And what were you doing in Memphis?
Working.
That night, Miss Proudfoot, at midnight when you went to bed, what did you do until midnight?
I had been reading a chapter that I needed to, and I had been talking to my husband on the phone. I was falling asleep on him, so that's when he told me it was around midnight. He told me to go ahead and put the dogs up and go to bed, and that's what I did. I got up, put the dogs where they sleep, and then I myself went to bed.
Where do they sleep?
They have a big pen.
A pen, is it inside or outside?
Inside.
Gotcha. I want to go back to that night. You said you were up till midnight. You were reading something. What were you reading?
A chapter for school.
A chapter for school. Are you in school?
I was, yes, ma'am. I've since dropped my classes for the time.
What are you studying?
Business administration.
Gotcha. Where do you go to school?
DeVry.
So that night you go to bed at midnight after you've been talking to Mr. Proudfoot on the phone. You put the dogs away in a cage, a crate inside the home, and you go to bed. Did you check on Sebastian at that time?
I did not.
Okay. Do you normally?
Not typically. Since he's gotten older, I've not been checking on him as frequently throughout the night because normally he's good to go in his room once he goes to bed.
Earlier, you had stated you heard a noise in his room before you went to bed. What time was that?
Around 10 o'clock.
10 p.m. What did it sound like?
Just a thud.
A thud. You stated that you said, look, I don't care what you're doing in there. Go to bed. Is that right?
I was on the couch, which is near his room, and I said, Bubba, did you fall out of the bed? And he said, no, ma'am. And I said, well, whatever you're doing in there, knock it off and go to sleep.
So you heard his voice at 10 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any idea what the sound actually was?
I do not, no. Yes, ma'am.
Are you a heavy sleeper?
Off and on.
Do you take any medication at night that would make you sleep?
No, ma'am.
But you heard nothing?
I did not know.
So we know he is alive and well at 10 p.m. At 6 a.m. he's gone. Other than you, Miss Proudfoot, who is the last person that saw or heard Sebastian alive the Sunday before he went missing?
Two of his aunts, a cousin, and the staff where we had dinner.
And that was at BJ's the night before or the bowling alley?
So BJ's, and then we went to the bowling alley, and then after the bowling alley, we went to dinner before coming home.
Miss Proudfoot, that evening, were you drinking?
No, ma'am.
Had you used any type of drug at all, even OTC, over the counter?
No, ma'am.
And you had no argument with Sebastian that night?
No, ma'am.
You stated you put the dogs away into a crate before you went to bed. Is the crate located near the exit, near a door?
No, ma'am.
Would the dogs have barked if there had been an intruder or if Sebastian had left?
The dogs don't typically bark at me and Sebastian because they're used to us. Even if we get up, we come around, they don't typically bark. Strangers, they do tend to bark, at least for a minute or two to get attention. But no, ma'am, they don't typically bark at Sebastian and myself or Christopher.
What kind of dogs are they?
Morkies.
Question, where is their crate located?
In the area near my sunroom.
Over by the
In
kitchen.
your son's, okay, hold on. Is
No,
it
son,
outside your
son.
son's room?
No, ma'am, not
Sunroom.
Sebastian's room. Son, yeah, yes, ma'am.
The sunroom. And that's not near the door?
No, ma'am.
Not near the front door.
It's near my back door, but not any of the other doors.
Yes, from what I've seen the layout of the home, it is near the back door, and they would have heard someone coming in and out that back door, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No barking. Do you have a chime or anything on your doors that would alert you to the door opening?
No, ma'am.
It's always interesting to hear all of that again, isn't it? I think I pick up something new every time I listen to those old interviews. So you heard her do with several different interviews that were spread out over about a month, her giving essentially the same timeline. Was there anything in that kind of jumped out at you?
And this is not evidence of anything,
Right.
but it just seemed like this is what she said, but every time it was very, no, I'm not going to say rehearsed, but it was pretty verbatim.
Yeah.
Each time it was very verbatim, told me goodnight, told the puppies goodnight. Every time she mentioned, him telling her goodnight, said that about the puppies too, which that's not, that's nothing, but it just seems a little funny. And, or maybe not even funny. It's just something that struck me. But also on the phone call thing, he was in that first interview, he was like, "Hey, we were on the phone and we can prove it." Basically, he was saying that. I don't know why that struck me as different, that we can prove this, that we were on this phone call. And are they implying that they talked from 9 till nearly midnight?
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes
But
it's 3 hours, and sometimes it's an hour and a half.
Yeah, but in one of these interviews, he actually says it's more like 9:43 or 9:46 to, I think he says just before midnight. So sometimes it's like a 3-hour phone call. Sometimes it's more like an hour and a half or so, which is a pretty big difference,
Right. And then reading the chapter, if it was a 3-hour phone call, she's probably not going to be reading too, I wouldn't think.
Yeah. Whenever she tells that part of the story, sometimes they're talking, sometimes she's kind of asleep or studying, and there's like a lot going on in this in this phone call. Something that jumped out to me, I don't think I'd ever thought of before. When Nancy Grace is asking her about the restaurant, she won't say the name of the restaurant, will she?
No. She said BJ's. She said, and she didn't name the bowling alley, but there's only really one there in Hendersonville. But she doesn't say the restaurant ever.
She's clearly trying to find out where they went last, and she won't tell her. And I don't think the public at that point knew. Like in March of 2024, I don't think we knew where that last meal was, did we? So it seemed to me that she was deliberately trying to keep that information from the public. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed it somewhere in those other.
I don't think so. I don't think we.
I don't.
You're muted.
I am.
No, I will. I said I'm sure somebody in chat will know.
Yeah. So if that's the case, that makes you wonder if maybe Texas Roadhouse is more important,
right?
Because she didn't want us looking there. I forgot you did that video with all the compilation, but it's nice to see her different versions all together. So you can kind of see the.
I tried to do one for Monday, like for when he was discovered missing, and there's so little detail on when for that part of the story that I couldn't find enough to really put it together. If that makes sense.
You mean
for Monday?
You mean the lead up to him being missing? Yeah, yes. I mean, the story really comes in, and all the detail comes in after he went missing. I mean, it's like there's more detail. It's all very factual based, like Dan said. Well, they did this and they did this, and it's very laid out.
Monday, there's nothing.
Yes,
I woke up at 6:30, or I can't remember. It's been so long. She went to go wake him up at 6. Is that what it was?
It was 6.
Yeah.
He got on the bus at 6:30, supposedly, or they took him to school at 6:30.
And he woke him up, I went to wake him up, and he wasn't there.
And so, Dan, I also want to let you see Seth. So this is the biological father of Sebastian.
You want to tell where he was?
So Seth was working as a jailer for Metro. So on the night that Sebastian was gone, he was literally working in the jail up through that morning. So
so he's on camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and early on, a lot of people tried to come up with crazy conspiracies that he could have gotten from Metro down there and gotten back on a lunch break and all kinds of crazy stuff, which is not possible.
Yeah, there were rumors of like a 2 or 4 hour lunch break and stuff that people were trying to, but I can't imagine that jailers get that much where they actually can leave the facility. I wouldn't think, but I don't know. Maybe that's.
Well, and he even went as far, he was not allowed to bring his phone into work, so it was in his car during his whole shift, and he didn't find out till after his shift that they were trying to reach him. That Sebastian was gone.
They reached out to him via text. I believe it said 911.
Well, I'm sorry. What shift did he work?
It was like the overnight shift.
I think it was 7 to 7 or something.
Something like that. 7 to 7. So Sebastian was gone sometime during his shift. But I wanted to play this kind of just to kind of get a feel for what the dad is like. This is about 2 minutes, and this is one of the first interviews he did too.
Deanna, he does work at Davidson County. We're talking about Metro Jail. That's what Metro is Davidson County.
Yeah, because I think the jailers there, they basically work for the county sheriff, right?
Right, they're correctional officers. They don't really have law enforcement powers. They're jailers.
Right.
That's my main hope right now, is that he's not deceased. I mean, I keep praying that he's alive. I keep praying that somebody's going to see him, that somebody's going to call 911.
Seth's 15-year-old son disappeared barefoot and with a flashlight from his mother and stepfather's home in Hendersonville either late on Sunday, March 3rd or early that Monday. Seth knows the key to finding his son may come from a tip. Several photographs have already been made public, and now he's released 2 video clips of Sebastian. In this first one, you see Sebastian up front on the left in yellow shorts, participating in a tug-of-war with fellow students.
And if you watch, he got swung around at the end like a little rag doll, and it's like, well, he gave it his best.
This second video shows Sebastian walking at his middle school graduation.
I was very proud of him. I mean, he successfully completed something.
Seth says his son, who is autistic, is not a wanderer. He finds it highly unlikely Sebastian would leave in the middle of the night barefoot, based on an experience his son had as a child.
He decided that he wanted to step into a mound of what he thought was dirt, and it was fire ants. And since then, it's always been, he doesn't like to get his feet in the dirt. He likes to have his socks and shoes on.
Seth won't rule out the possibility of foul play, that someone is involved in his son's disappearance. And if Sebastian is able, he says he needs to call for help.
He needs to call 911. And if somebody has him, you need to give him back. He's my son, and he doesn't belong to nobody, but damn it, he's mine. And he's mine.
Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
All right. So did anything kind of jump out at you with Seth there? Or do you get kind of a feeling? Or is that not enough to?
Oh, not. I mean, and this is just when he said I was very proud of him, but I think he was meaning at that particular moment, you know.
Right.
Right.
So I didn't really see, you know, nothing that really jumped out at me. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Like I said, because you're talking about the past tense thing.
Right.
But that was he was proud of him in that moment.
Right.
Not meaning he's not.
Yeah.
Right.
He was, yeah.
I agree with you.
Are you going to go over the interview that she did today?
It's like 30 minutes long.
Oh, is it long? Okay.
We could. I haven't even watched it yet. I mean, we could go kind of any direction we want to go. I thought I might show the flashlight video.
Oh, okay.
And
so he when he left, he had a flashlight with him.
So I don't know. There's that detail wasn't on the initial flyers. That got added in the stories later.
And they never mentioned it.
They didn't early on. No, it was a detail that they added later.
Okay.
What they later say is that he had this little kind of one of those little trinket type of flashlights that was green. And I think green, right? Was that what she says? Were they saying that in an interview? I think green. Anyway,
I think they said green.
I thought it was yellow, but
and they believe that was gone.
So
I believe it. They believe that was gone after one of the only items that
they couldn't find it.
Couldn't find it. Right. I'm not sure if that was
and
true or not.
Seth said the flashlight didn't work. It was just more like a fidget.
Right.
Okay, yeah, it was yellow. Thank you, everybody. Yellow.
Yeah. So all right. So I'll pull up. So like I said, there's not a lot of evidence that's come out to the public. A couple of weeks after the disappearance, there was what everyone refers to as the flashlight video. Is that showing there, Mrs. E?
I don't see it.
Maybe not. Okay, let me
you may have to take down. There we go.
I did notice that Nick Barris got the dates wrong in that last news segment.
All right. So this is, I'm sure you know Nick Barris.
Mm-hmm.
So he early on was a big reporter on the case. He got a lot. He seemed to have had some kind of connection with Sumner County. So he gets his hands on this video and he's going to describe it. And this was a huge bit of information when it happened.
February 26th, around 3:10 a.m. Now, there are no street lights in the Stafford Court neighborhood, so it is at night, pitch black. What you will see here are these 2 points of light believed to be people with flashlights in the area around Sebastian Rogers' Hendersonville home. It is believed Sebastian left his home barefoot and with a flashlight sometime overnight. Since his disappearance, authorities have reviewed security video from homes in the neighborhood looking for clues.
We have had several clips that have come in.
And this one is getting the most attention, showing signs of activity around Sebastian's home the night he disappeared. You see 2 light sources, which we've circled to help you follow. For point of reference, the security camera was pointed toward the back of Sebastian's home in a common area. In the video, you see subject 1 with a light source in the lower right-hand corner. Then you see subject 2 briefly appear and move toward the first before that light source is covered or obscured by bushes. Subject 1, a few seconds later, then moves out of frame. Then subject 2 reappears and follows subject 1 off screen. It's a short time later and it's very vague, but then you see one of the subjects moving quickly back through the common area, and that is it. I know there's not much to see here. You certainly cannot identify anyone, but those close to the investigation tell me the mere fact that there is now evidence that someone is in the area around Sebastian's home is significant. This video shows suspicious activity in the immediate area the night Sebastian disappeared.
So Dan, just while that map is up there, I just want to show you where he's claiming. So you see that common area between all those houses?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sebastian's on the top left. Okay.
Top left, okay.
And the security camera is about where at the bottom of the screen, kind of where it says exclusive, across the street. That camera is pointing up into that common area.
Okay.
So that's where this light seems to be coming from. What is that? You know, people thought, okay, was that Sebastian leaving the house with that little flashlight? Was he meeting somebody? Was he being carried, or was it something else? Some other light that has nothing to do with it, but it became a big part of the conversation, you know, for really it still is.
Because who's the other light? It's unusual.
Yeah. So that got a lot of traction out there for a while, a lot of speculation, people wondering what are these 2 lights about. And then eventually Sumner County comes out and they discuss it. And this is the sheriff for Sumner County. And what I'm curious, there's certain things he says. I just want to get a feel for what you think it means, I guess. Okay. The lingo that a law enforcement person might use and what this might mean.
Exclusive one-on-one to talk about what they do when there are few new leads.
I think in the absence of information, what we'll continue to do is go back over everything we've already done once, put a fresh set of eyes on it.
To that end, Craddock says searchers recently found a pair of glasses, which they are checking to see if they belong to Sebastian. He says the parents continue to fully cooperate. Any evidence of foul play?
We have not cleared anyone, but we have absolutely no evidence to support foul play.
I asked about exclusive home security video obtained from the neighborhood.
I want to stop. So he's saying we have not cleared anyone and there's no evidence of foul play. So I'm always kind of trying to read a little between the lines, I guess.
Right.
Is he saying things in a particular way to not jeopardize his investigation? Or do you think are there certain ways that law enforcement will phrase things that can be ambiguous later?
Well, I'll put it this way. Anytime somebody goes missing or if somebody is deceased,
yeah,
it's always worked from the inside out. It's if something happened to you,
yeah, Mrs.
E would be
of course
the first, and you have to clear Mrs. E before you go anywhere else. And once you clear somebody, you can say this person is cleared.
Yeah.
And you go outward. That's one reason why a robbery is harder to solve than a murder, because a murder, it's always somebody you knew, well,
right.
most of
the time,
A
sure.
robbery, it's always somebody you didn't know.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but the fact he said we have not cleared anyone, but of course they don't have any real crime scene or any real evidence of anything other than him being missing.
Right.
And there's no physical evidence other than he's missing. Is all we got.
Yeah, and I don't think we went over this, but there's no sign of forced entry in the home, that at least nothing they've disclosed.
Windows were locked, doors were locked.
Yeah.
They were locked the next morning too.
Everything.
Like, it's just like he vanished out of thin air. Everything was secured the next morning. So
One thing that you do need to know, though, is that in her story, and I'm not sure if you got that queued up, honey, or not, but is that she says she goes to wake him up, I believe, what was it, at 6?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then they did not call the police until
about a half hour later. 6,
yeah.
Right? A little over a half.
There's also video of her driving around the neighborhood very fast, without her window down, without talking to neighbors, walking. There's just a lot of stuff there. They didn't call 911. They called the sheriff's department, or they called someone via 3-way call.
Yeah.
There's just,
we still don't know who. We don't really know exactly.
6:33. Thank you, peace, love.
Yeah. So that was something that we always kind of, a half hour.
Half hour is a long time. That's an episode of Friends,
Go
right?
in your child's room and they're not there, and it takes a half hour to call someone from law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a incredibly long time to me. So that part of that.
And another thing I think that's kind of key there is she didn't call. She calls him on a 3-way, and he calls, and he's in Memphis. And
he's in Memphis.
He's in Memphis, and she calls him. Then they do a 3-way call to a non-emergency line at the sheriff's office.
Yeah,
they don't call 911 at all. They call a non-emergency line at the sheriff's office on a 3-way call, and he's in Memphis.
Have they released that?
No, because it wasn't a recorded line.
People have tried to FOIA that call, and nothing's out. None of the body cam footage, nothing like that's been released.
I thought even the non-emergency line was recorded.
It should be recorded, but I think they're holding it back because it's part of an investigation.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe.
And they didn't. They did text Seth. They did not call him. Let's see, and that wasn't until like 7. What was it? 7:20.
Well, he got to his phone after work. I know it was in his either locker or car, because he wasn't allowed to have it during.
Right.
I think he said that his text came through at like 6:22 or something like that, if I remember correctly. But he didn't see it.
But that would also be before they called the police. Instead of saying, "Have you seen Sebastian? Have you heard from Sebastian?" It was 911.
Yeah. So I want to get to the part 2 here, where Craddock is going to talk about these flashlights not being of evidentiary value, I think is the phrase.
Neighborhood the night Sebastian disappeared. You can see 2 suspicious light sources, which we've circled here in an area behind the teen's home. Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said no evidentiary value.
It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No,
Why?
because the investigation remains ongoing.
And so it could play a role down the road depending on developments?
We don't know what we don't know. So yes, it could play a role.
So many are, of course.
What do you think that means?
We've said that 100
times. This phrase apart. I'm going to play it again because sometimes I hear it differently. All right.
Home. Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said no evidentiary value.
It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No,
Why?
because the investigation remains ongoing.
And so it could play a role down the road depending on developments?
We don't know what we don't know. So yes, it could play a role.
So many.
It's a funny phrasing to me.
It is. It is a little different. It played no role, or it's of no evidentiary value, but it could be down the road.
Right.
But, yeah, it could be just the way he worded it. It does sound a little funny.
Yeah.
And because it happened there and there's flashlights in the back there, it seems like it would be kind of important,
Yeah.
But
Is that common lingo? No evidentiary value that guys will say. Is that a common phrase you would hear?
sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
And he very well probably thinks it's not.
And what would that mean? What does that mean to you? If someone told you, what would that mean to you? That
he doesn't think it's linked to it. Is I'm guessing what he's saying. It's he doesn't think it's linked to the case.
Okay.
But
he won't completely commit.
Right. He said, well, it could be, down the road, it could be.
Right.
And they always hang on to some things, because, for instance, a confession, if I put out to the media, the suspect was stabbed in the head, and then the guy admits to me, goes, I stabbed him right in the head. That confession is really not that good of a confession. Yeah, he's admitting he did it, but you want to get them to give you a detail that they could not possibly have known unless they were there.
Right.
That is a good confession. That's a confession that you can't back away from. You can say, well, they beat it out of me and made me confess to this, but they can't beat out something that you couldn't have known.
That you weren't told.
Right.
And it's all on camera, so they can show. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So I do understand why they hold certain things back and want to.
But
maybe
could you not say that it's of no evidentiary value because you don't know who the people are that possibly have the flashlights? Could it be you believe it's someone, but you can't tell who, so it's of no evidentiary value because you can't see them?
Possibly, but did they ever?
I never thought of it that way.
Has anybody said they were the ones back there with the flashlight?
No.
No, there's been a lot of speculation with the flashlights. Trying to think. It's a trash truck.
That's the alternate theory that usually gets pushed out there, is that it's a trash truck. We've gone out there, we've looked at, we cannot come up with how that's a trash truck.
Also, it's at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know trash trucks that pick up in neighborhoods at 3 o'clock in the morning.
But that's usually the alternative story that gets pushed. But I don't. The way those two lights separate, I don't see how that's the headlights of a trash truck. Goes off screen and the other one comes back. But that's usually the alternate theory that gets put out there.
There's not a road back in that part, was there?
No, it's like a little ditch,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a gazebo there and some bushes and trees in between all these like houses that back up to each other.
They call it a common area, but it's kind of like a little ditch.
Yeah.
And it runs between the back of the houses, and that little gazebo is back there, and then brush and grass.
Yeah.
Is that where the pond was?
No. So there.
Do you have one of the maps?
I have a video. I'll find it. You guys keep talking.
I have the map up.
I just know a lot of those common areas. Sometimes they have a low area that holds water.
So this, let's see.
Can you do the satellite view?
I don't know. I just had Google
down there
Maps.
on the left. It says layers.
Okay.
Can you
All
do
right.
Yeah.
So this neighborhood, Dan, right in the middle, this is Sebastian's neighborhood.
Okay.
You're gonna have to zoom in. It's tiny.
All right. This, right, I don't know if you can see my mouse or not, but that's
I
the
do.
common area
Okay.
right there. This house on the bottom, that's the one that had the security camera pointed right in that area. That retention pond was this new build area over here.
Okay.
And
You can
now
kind of
it's
see
pretty much,
back in. You can. It's filled in now.
it's pretty full now of houses, but back then there were very few, and there was like a retention pond and lots of mud and bulldozers and all kinds of stuff sitting over there that night. So that became a big area of interest because one of the dogs followed some tracks over there, but not his scent, but a track. You know, I don't know. His scent never went anywhere, but one of the dogs followed some tracks into this construction. So people wondered, could he have been in the pond over there? Maybe gotten, maybe that was a meetup spot because there really weren't a lot of people living there yet. And then his high school is right here. You can see the football field. I guess Beach High School, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where he went to school. So when Katie leaves that morning, she pulls out here on Long Hollow. She goes down to Beach High School allegedly, circles around the parking lot and comes right back. And then the police are there.
It's a not even a 5-minute drive to the school. What,
Yeah.
3?
No,
2.5?
it's about 45 seconds. I've timed it.
Yeah. I mean, you can be down there and back in no
Did
time.
he ever walk to school?
Bus rider.
He was a bus rider.
Yeah.
And thank you. We have a super chat from Kate CU. Hang on one second and I'll put it up. Thank you so much, Kate sees you.
Cat.
I'm sorry, Kate. I was seeing the K. Cat sees you. Thank you for all you're doing and keeping Sebastian's name out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cat. And also we have one from our buddy Nick the Hat.
Well, thank you, Nick. We appreciate that. And thank you for all the support. And thank you to Kat also.
And Nick works with Dog the Bounty Hunter. That's a whole other thing.
Very cool.
We haven't gotten that far.
Yeah, so sometime
It's
after
so convoluted.
I vaguely remember when I watched some of the stuff before. I remember when Dog's name came up. Yeah.
Yeah, so sometime after, right around the half-year mark or right around there is when Dog the Bounty Hunter got involved. He started doing a lot of media, court TV and stuff. And so it was great. He got Sebastian's name out there a lot.
Right.
And they've even offered up their own reward in addition to the FBI. Their own reward is 500,000. So it's 450 from them and 50 from FBI, right?
Right. So it brings it up to a total of the $500,000 reward. So I think everybody was pretty hopeful that Dog getting involved would break it open. And
Dog's here. Dog,
hey, Dog.
Oh, well, hey, Dog. So yes, $500,000 according to official Dog the Bounty Hunter. We appreciate you joining us here. So I mean that got a lot of eyeballs and attention too, So and an FBI, they came in with their 50,000 and they brought it up. So Dog says, we will find out what happened. Time will tell. So good to see how we are hoping every day that something's going to break on this. And I do believe that this is still a solvable case. I don't think that I think this could be solved. There's too many mistakes and things that have happened out there. And I think we probably just know a tiny bit of what law enforcement has, Dog, of course, it's run as fast as you can, but we haven't slowed down a little.
Well, thank you for coming in, Dog.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Dog. That's fantastic.
Dog is in the house.
Dog came in because Dan the detective was here. That's
yeah.
Yeah, you drew in Dog. Well, we appreciate you being here. Do we want to do the Roadhouse video too?
Sure. There's so much. It's so overwhelming to try to explain it.
I know.
Especially in one night.
I know, but trying to hit
Because
all the
there's lots of layers and lots of other information that we know that I guess complicates things a little bit more. Just
There's private recordings, secret recordings, and the way they talk about people and how they act when private investigators come to help them and how they treat them. They turned down Dog. They turned down Dog's help. Dog reached out to them first, and they turned it down.
Yeah, so they reached out to Chris and Katie first to help them.
Oh, that's a great question.
And they turned him down. So then they went to Seth. And so Seth is really the one that's got, working with Dog.
Right.
I don't know, do I have the Roadhouse video, or did you send that in a text?
Let me see. I thought I sent it to you, but maybe you didn't get it. While you're doing that, that's a good question from MK.
I don't know. I don't think that's normal. I don't. Excuse me.
I could help. I could help a little bit. He's the only not runaway. I'm sorry. He's the only missing child that has that. They did when Nancy Guthrie went missing. They did offer $50,000 at first for her. Then, of course, we all know they doubled it to $100,000 for her. But for a very long time, Sebastian was the top for a missing person.
I mean, most of the missing person was the FBI's. When you go look through there, it's usually like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. So $50,000 was a big number.
Yeah.
And Dog said they turned us down and called the cops on me.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah,
and then also said they didn't want any help, and I will never find him. They told him he would never find him. And Chris, I think, told him that directly. You'll never find him.
Wow. That right there's that's not who said that?
Chris,
the stepfather.
When Dog first approached them. Yeah.
And also, Dan, you should know that since then, little by little, it's trickled out, and we've received confirmation from the biological father that there were 5 CPS reports at that house.
Yeah, so that came out much later.
That there were what? I'm sorry.
There had been 5 CPS reports in about a year and a half leading up to the disappearance. A little less than a year and a half.
Do you know what they were about?
We don't know the contents.
We know hearsay.
We just know it involved
the
people he was living with.
Okay.
Not Seth.
Well,
because Seth can't. They can't all release what's actually in those CPS reports to us, but that they exist. They can tell us they exist.
Right.
And at first, in interviews, Chris only acknowledged 1, and then he denied about the 5, and then months later, he eventually admitted, "Well, okay, it's 3." So I don't know what the true number is, but Chris claimed 3. They claimed 5.
Seth worked with his attorney to get them.
I mean, I know what I believe. I'm just saying what I can confirm. But either way, several CPS reports in that house leading up to the disappearance.
Just the comment, "You will never find him," that's the most red flaggish thing I've heard.
Yeah.
That's apparent, or you don't do that. No. You never ever give up hope. You don't. I wish I could think of the name of this movie I watched the other day. It's a Joseph Wambaugh. He was the ex-cop that wrote. It's an older movie, probably in the 70s, but it's a guy's looking for his kids that had been murdered, but it's 2 years later, and the interviewer says, "Well, do you still think that? Are you still hopeful they're alive?" And the way he just looks at the camera and he goes, "Well, of course.
Yeah.
I know they're alive. I know people hurt kids, but nobody would hurt these kids." And he's holding pictures up. and I don't even know if the movie's true, but that sentiment,
Yeah.
a parent does not do that.
Right.
Granted, he's a step parent, but that's still a step parent. That's an unusual.
Yeah.
That's a bad
He
thing.
he made a lot of unusual statements.
He's also on his 5th marriage. And I think he had to take, what was it, conflict resolution courses or something like that from another marriage. And so, there's some issues with the stepdad.
Peace Love Jeeps reminded that he also said this case will be studied for a long time. He said that in the very first Duchess interview that was on YouTube. The very first interview, he said this case will be studied. I can't remember the exact words.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
Did he say this case will go down in history or something? He said something to that effect.
Well, it makes me feel like we don't remember. I mean, we know this stuff, but it's been so long.
Yeah, there's so many interviews. It's been a while since we've gone through them.
It's been 2 years.
It was like listening to those old ones
For years to come. Yes, that's right.
That's it.
Yeah, for years to come.
It'll be studied for years to come.
Well, Doug
I love these guys.
Doug says it's far from over. Loud foot, high foot, proud foot, fight foot.
Yeah, I think I still am very hopeful that this case can and will be solved eventually.
Well, and I think it's like Doug says, this is a case where Big Brother knows what happened, but have not proven it yet.
Right.
I want to show this because this is our last real proof of life we have on Sebastian on video. So this will be him on security that Sunday night leaving the Texas Roadhouse. This is the one out. I don't know how familiar you are with Sumner, Indian Lake area. So Sunday night, pretty busy. That steakhouse is always pretty rocking.
And
so Sebastian's coming out the front door, and that's him in the blue jeans.
I'm going to try to make this bigger. I'm going to take us off the screen for a second and try to make this bigger. I cannot make it big.
And in this clip, it's not going to show her walk up here, but there's a person that we've all come to call Green Hoodie that walked up from behind where that white pickup was and walked between to the driver's side of Katie's car and stood there for about 40-ish or so seconds. And Katie walks up to that person.
And if you underneath the 0225, that's Sebastian.
Yeah, with his hand in his pocket.
Okay.
And that's Katie kind of at the top walking up to the person near her door. And I know it's hard to see it.
I'm not sure. We can't find the footage we're looking for on this. But do you want to explain what happened there?
So whatever's going on, these people look back. Katie's standing with this green hoodie person for several seconds.
And she's on the driver's side of the car that Sebastian's got his hand. Is that their car?
Yeah. That's their car. Yeah. He's waiting for her to. So here comes Green Hoodie walking toward the entrance to the Roadhouse. So this was released by Dog and his team sometime around November, December of 2024. The public had not seen this before. So then it all became, okay, what was going on with this person with the green hoodie? Who is it? What are they doing standing beside Katie's car? What happened in this 10-second exchange? You know, we don't know. Can't see. But anyway, green hoodie goes to the bathroom, comes out, goes back and walks back to where that white truck was and kind of cuts through the brush, through the bushes there into an empty parking lot that's for like Vanderbilt. So there's nothing going on in that parking lot. They're closed by 5. So why was that person there? Was it an innocent passing or was there something to it? Because really this would be, other than Katie, this would be the second to last person that we know that saw Sebastian really at all. So it became a lot of we need to identify this person and find out who they are.
Right.
And one thing we do notice is that Sebastian looks over for quite a while and stares at the person and Katie and whatever kind of interchange that they're
Yeah,
having.
there's a better angle, and for some reason I cannot find it.
But he looks over and he kind of like, you know, and you could just see it in his eyes. He's looking, trying to figure out why this person's talking to his mom. And then he slowly keeps his eyes on him, but goes to the car and gets in.
And according to Seth, the detectives, the TBI, and all, they didn't know who this was and had not identified this person at this point. And this is 10 months after the investigation starts. So once the video comes out several days later, they claim to have found the green hoodie person and that they don't have anything to do with Sebastian's disappearance.
Well, was the mother ever asked about green hoodie guy?
I don't know, not publicly. I don't
Not
think
interviewed at all that we know of. And then maybe the police talked to her, but we don't know.
she only does real softball interviews. Like she won't go anywhere where anybody's going to ask her a tough question, you know. Because if I had a chance to interview Katie, there's a lot of questions I'd ask, but she won't go to those places. Nobody is going to ask her that question because they won't get her interview again.
The hardest questions she answered were Nancy Grace's. She was the more accusatory, I want to find out what you were doing prior to his disappearance type of questions, where she was kind of put on the hot seat. That was the only thing we saw that was any kind of confrontation. All the rest of the YouTubers were feeding into, you know, you've got a missing child, tell us the story, more so than asking those kind of probing type of questions.
And Nancy Grace had no idea about that footage or anything because that was fairly early when she.
That was early on.
So that didn't come. Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason we've ever seen it is because of Dog the Bounty Hunter and his team. It's the only reason we've seen it.
I found where a better angle on Mob Crew, and I'm sure they won't mind if we play it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Sorry, I've got to figure out how to do it. You guys go ahead. I'll keep trying to figure it out.
Someone's saying that Chris said Katie said GH Green Hoodie was a homeless person. I don't know if he said that or.
Well, Dan's familiar with Hendersonville. How many homeless people do you see around here?
And we do know that it's a female and not a male. The person kind of looks like an older woman, and they go into the female bathroom inside Texas Roadhouse. So we assume it's a woman, but you can't assume too much these days. But it's a woman.
I think she walks like a woman. Looks to me it looks like a female to me too.
If someone in one of our moderators wouldn't mind to put Mob Crew's link in there, that would be really helpful. All right. This is our friend Mob Crew.
So she even kind of curves back to go wedge herself in between these two cars.
Right. And then
pause right there for a second too.
And you can kind of see the edge of her sweatshirt starting to come into picture.
This area is much larger than it appears here. 2 cars up, you can kind of see that that little ramp, the little yellow ramp on the sidewalk. So that's actually a very big open space between those cars where you could just walk straight up and go to the front door. So why would she, instead of just walking to the big open gaping areas to enter the restaurant, why did she wedge herself
in between
these 2 strange cars and stand there for 40 seconds? So
was the mother getting in the car at that point?
Not yet. They were finishing up and leaving the restaurant.
Okay.
I'll keep playing it.
Speculation is, did she text? Was there a signal?
There's Green Hoodie.
Like that. See, now she comes in. And here's another problem I have with this. If I'm Katie, I'm a woman with my child, I'm leaving a restaurant, and I'm going to my car. If I see some strange homeless person with a green hoodie by my driver's door standing there, I'm not wedging myself in there to be to get stabbed or shanked by this person.
Right.
I'm waving them out. I'm saying, hey, I need to get to my car. I need you to get out. Why would you walk up in there with her and have some kind of 8 to 10 second conversation with this person?
Well, and you can tell there's not really much space between where she's
No.
parked, the yellow line, and the next car. They're close together. So for two
But
people,
what-
the path would be they would have to move out of each other's way. It's very intentional.
And what's interesting about this too is just a little bit, like one car over, there's a very wide, clear walkway that would have been the natural walkway.
But
Well, and the fact that the way she comes through bushes to get there is not a regular pathway as well. She intentionally comes through the bushes.
Yeah, when she leaves, she walks through these bushes, even though there's two.
I think it shows it
you
on
could
here.
just walk through a big open spot here or a made sidewalk path. But for whatever reason, she chooses to push her way through these like evergreens. It's just weird, man. It's just weird. And so, did she? And then it looks like there's a car back there that leaves with her. It's kind of hard, but that's the guy on the screen now, Mob Crew. He does a lot of video stuff. And he tries to break down and look for lights and stuff. And he thinks he sees a car leaving with her back there. So yeah, this is her leaving, or he, but we think a she. And this exit makes no sense either. She could have gone. There's like a crosswalk. There's just way more logical places to go. So what people wonder is, was this person involved? Was she handed something, money, a key to the house, instructions, drugs? We don't know. Or was it really nothing? Law enforcement says they have spoken to this person and that they are not part of the disappearance. That's publicly what they said. So, but you mentioned earlier that sometimes investigators, they can lie to solve a case, but how do you feel about lying to the public? It seems dicier to me than lying to a suspect, but do they do that, you think, to protect an investigation if they need the public to drop the whole green hoodie thing because they're important? Do you think they do that?
They might do that.
Okay.
Because if they were really focusing on this for some reason, they might not want to burn something, they might want to just wished it wasn't brought up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because we're trying to get this thing. I mean, if that person did have something to do with it, it's possible, but it would be kind of a stretch,
Right.
But when you have very little, you've got to look at every single thing,
I think we've broken this case down into teeny tiny little increments. So
I mean, we spent so much time looking at this case, it's crazy.
I mean, we have.
I know we're throwing a lot at you in kind of one night, but we're trying to give you
so much.
the brush strokes of what we've been looking at, the big stuff I don't know if green hoodie's relevant or not, but I can't let it go. Like there's enough there where I can't.
I don't know if it's relevant or not. I think it's relevant, but we know that she went when this was released, she beelined it to Texas Roadhouse with a private investigator. I thought we did know that she went up there.
We don't know.
We've heard conflicting reports.
We don't know.
Heard conflicting reports. Well, some people in chat were mentioning that too. And we heard, and we also heard that did we hear that she pled the fifth on it, or she got an attorney?
Story is that she eventually lawyered up, right?
I think that we did hear that.
I'm trying to think of when that happened. Was that Was that this fall? Was that this fall?
No, I think that was last fall.
What's Dog saying? He has mobile text messages of what?
He says, I have the mobile text messages on my cellular.
Oh.
Of what, Dog? What do you have
Right.
the mobile text
Oh, yes.
messages of?
Right. So
he said Sheriff Crooked Craddock lied.
So they said that they did want help identifying Green Hoodie by putting the video out. And then 3 days later, they said they had that person identified. Okay, so here's my other problem with the Green Hoodie. So if Sebastian goes missing in February, surely they have that Texas Roadhouse footage within a couple of weeks. The investigators do. You would think that they would have already, before December of 2024, said, we need to find out who that Green Hoodie person is that Katie's talking to by her car for 10 seconds. Who is she? And track her down. Why did it take Dog the Bounty Hunter putting the video out to make them get on it? And, so it's one of the questions I have. Does that mean that they overlooked that person, or they just don't think it's important because they've got a whole other theory? I don't know. I don't know.
Both of those are possible. And it's only the investigation's only really as strong as the investigator that's looking into it. If he's, I'm sure I've blown things off that turned out to be important later,
Sure.
And maybe that's what they did. I don't know.
Yeah.
He said, Lying Craddock told me to help them ID Green Hoodie and even chose the photos. So he chose the photos that were released. And then he said, when I come to town, and I'm meeting with Sheriff Craddock mano a mano.
Great. Would love to have you. I bet Craddock would meet with him. I bet he would if he comes to town. I think he'd take the meeting. It's so tough. It's just so tough for me to let the Green Hoodie thing go, even though, because there's just some parts of it that just don't make sense to me. And so maybe there's an explanation to why that woman was there that had nothing to do with Sebastian. Plus another thing about it being a homeless person over there, that is not a place the homeless hang out. We don't, Sumner County doesn't have the panhandling that Davidson County does. Like if you go up to the Davidson County, you'll see all the homeless at all the exits asking for money.
Right.
As soon as you get into Sumner County,
They don't tolerate
They
that.
don't tolerate. You don't have it. So we don't really have a homeless issue like that. And it's not near like a bus station or any public it's on an island, that Texas Roadhouse, surrounded by fencing.
It's just not an area where you'd ever see homeless, ever.
Yes, it's not a place you'd see the homeless person wandering up to go use the bathroom. It's so far out of the way of anything, anywhere that anybody would go. It's really like traveling to a destination and not a place you pass by. So I don't, but that's been part of the story, is that this is a regular visitor homeless person to that Roadhouse. I just don't believe it.
Have they got any other videos of that person there?
Not that we've seen, just what we've been told. So, but
GTO guy had a question.
Anything said yet about the sheriff passing and Craddock supposedly being friends with the Proud Toes? I don't know that they are friends.
Yeah, we've never verified that for sure, other than just hearsay. But the sheriff did pass, and Craddock took over for the sheriff until he was elected.
Oh,
the passing of the first sheriff.
I got you. So yes, what was his name? He passed away shortly after this case.
He was in Gatlinburg or something. Sonny.
I can't think of his last name. Somebody will know.
Yeah.
But anyway, he died.
Weatherford.
Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, he was some kind of convention, something up in Gatlinburg area, and just literally just passed away. And so Craddock was the detective on this case, and then he became the sheriff of the county. And so,
but we haven't verified that they have a long-standing friendship of any kind with the new And then also I wanted to thank Serenity. Serenity gave us a $5 super chat. She said, Seth said he has not heard from or been able to get a hold of Ellie for over a year. Yeah, I heard him say that yesterday when Betty was interviewing him. He said it had been over a year that he had not been able to get them to respond.
I would have to say I don't believe that. I would think they've been trying to talk to him, and he probably won't talk to them, is what I'm guessing.
So Seth is the biological father. Seth would be the one that was the jailer.
Okay, I had him confused.
Right.
But still, now, unless they just don't want to let him in on any information for whatever reason, but I find it, I don't know. It just seems hard to believe that the police wouldn't talk to them, because they love talking to everybody, or they should.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you wouldn't all want to talk to. Okay, so there's two ideas I have on this. What you're saying is, especially if there were ever any suspicion that Seth was involved in any way, you definitely would take the meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, oh yeah, come on down. Let's talk all you like. If they thought he knew anything, if they think if they've already cleared him in their minds and he has that because they know he was in the jail and didn't have any motive or anything else, then you may not care if you talk to Seth much at all as far as the investigation goes.
If you don't have much information to give him.
Right.
Yeah.
They have at times communicated, and things have been cold for the last year with them. He's been upset and frustrated though.
He's expressed that, and I think he's
kind of let his temper on some interviews go about his frustrations with the lack of progress with the case.
That's a very good sign for him. But has Mr. Proud, he's not done that, has he?
Oh no. They are very happy with
Yes, they think they're doing a great job. They never complain about the progress or no frustration with anything. I mean,
and Dog said they canceled meetings with him and never called the father. Also, the tip line is broken and they hired a ghost.
Yes.
And also we need to
so much about this case, isn't there?
I mean, it's just crazy. And we need to thank MK. She gave us a $10 super sticker. Thank you so much, MK.
Thank you, MK. We appreciate that very much.
Super cute. It's like somebody doing this with sunglasses, and it's like a game controller. It's very cute. Thank you so much.
Yes, what Dog was talking about there, I forgot about this, but there at one time their tip line went to a retired detective's desk, so there was no active person taking these Sebastian tips.
And that is true. They did deny. I saw that on the news. They did not. They said they would be releasing a statement possibly, but they declined the interview with Channel 2 today.
Yeah. I think last year they did a statement. They don't really do interviews about this case anymore. And they never really did a press conference. They did kind of like a
GTO,
not where there was like a press pool there, GTO guy says,
that's a whole other thing.
has it been brought up to Detective Dan about all the threats that people experience trying to help search? So several people,
claim
searchers, Cajun Navy, Uvalde, I think, different YouTubers, Dog, some of his team, they've gotten
threats.
I've heard of dozens or so different death threats that people have gotten.
Who are they getting them from? Anonymous or?
Yeah.
Well, we know one YouTuber was chased by
one was chased by the stepfathers.
The stepfather.
Stepfather.
Yeah. Yeah, he followed her in a Sam's parking lot, pulled up.
That's on video.
Kind of did
Yeah,
one of
we
those
saw that
old eye
live.
intimidation moves, and she got out, kind of yelled at him and all that. And
Well, we haven't even
he
got
did
that.
that to
There's
another
so much.
YouTuber following him around, JLR. He
Well,
did-
and they also put out an RO on the YouTuber who lives in Florida. I mean, there's a lot.
yeah,
There's so much. It's crazy.
yeah. Even though she had never spoken
Met
to or
them.
laid eyes on them,
Yeah.
filed
She
for
just
arrest.
was very vocal about what she believed happened.
But she was
And
very open. Yeah, very vocal about her theory.
What was her theory? Or could you get in trouble for saying? I don't know.
I mean,
no. I mean, her theory is that the family's involved.
Yeah, my theory is that Chris and whatever happened to Sebastian, Chris and Katie know what happened. Is really, I don't know what happened to them, but I think they know. I'd feel fairly confident in saying that.
I would. It seems to me like they would too.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see where everything goes, but
I
there's
think
been
what everybody's
so much.
surprised. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, and the
Everybody's
father, Sebastian's father, Seth, has also asked the police to involve the FBI in the investigation. I know he has made that request. That has not been done.
That's a great question for Dan, though. Is what's the protocol in something like that?
For the FBI to get involved?
People ask this all the time. They want the FBI to take over investigations. And so what would that?
No, I'm kind of rusty on this, but I think it either has to go over state lines or it has to, there is some criteria that has to be met. I know one of them state lines.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else would it be?
That's usually the one people bring up is if there was ever evidence that he was transported out of the state or something like that, then they might could take it over.
Right.
But
yeah.
Largely, this just wouldn't qualify as an FBI.
Right.
They can help, and apparently they do help because they got the reward. There's always been indications that the FBI is assisting, but not taking it over.
Do you know if any FBI's interviewed the mother and stepfather?
I don't think FBI have.
It's a good question. Did Chris allude to something like that?
Yeah. Something like that, but I don't know if we ever verified or got any other verification other than him mentioning it in passing on an interview.
Didn't he say something about it's either TBI or FBI? But I think he said something about going to a field
TBI.
office.
I think it was TBI.
Yeah, and What's Up is saying FBI is involved in Nancy Guthrie, and it's not over state lines.
True.
But they can help. It's just a matter of who leads the investigation.
And I think
right?
that the hostage, the demand for money might
have brought them in. Yes.
Okay, I've got one from our Paige Turner that she put in a few weeks ago. She is asking, how long does it take to get all the data from electronics collected? Do you have any idea?
No, I would say it shouldn't be too long. I don't know how long it would take to do. When I was, before I retired, that was back when they were just now getting that cell phone pinging stuff,
right.
And you could put somebody in a general area. Nowadays, you can tell which aisle they went down the supermarket, with their phone.
Well, and like I said, you can tell orientation changes, how every few seconds what the phone is doing. I mean, there's so much data that they can get from phones now.
Those are questions that they won't really answer. Like they won't answer were you walking when you were on your phone call with Katie? Were you walking around with your phone? Was it still that stuff? He won't
He won't answer.
He won't answer that question. So we don't know. Did he lay the phone down, start the phone call, and leave? Or was he walking around on the phone? Because we don't know. We don't know for a fact that Chris was there in Memphis that whole time.
He has said in interviews, we did this and we did that, referring to the night he disappeared. So that's where everyone got those questions, but I don't have those like handy to show you.
Now he worked in Memphis, but what was his occupation? What did he do?
He was doing construction for St. Jude's, crane operator.
But he wasn't working nights. He was
right.
And he had a camper. He was camping in a campground, an RV during his shift. And he supposedly was not coming home on the weekends. Actually, he claims to have not seen Sebastian for weeks prior to that, saying that he was out of town working for like 3 weeks. But we don't know that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's what he claims.
One question too. Apparently, this got leaked last March. That there was a warrant served. Honey, do you want to go into that?
Oh yeah. So they, we didn't know it when it happened. So it leaked several months later. That a little over a year after Sebastian went missing, they got a search warrant and seized cameras and phones from the Proudfoot home.
And Paige's question is, what kind of evidence would they need to get a warrant a year later?
Like, what would that tell you?
That's a good question.
They would have to have, well, theoretically, probable cause.
Okay.
Now, granted, I have seen search warrants when we were looking for a gun once, a helicopter, Metro Police helicopter got shot, and they were looking for the gun, and we did search warrants on 3 different places. And in my head, I'm thinking this will not make it through court.
Okay.
Because that gun is probably in this house, and it's probably in this house, and it's probably in this house, and we're going to hit them all at the same time.
Okay.
And we were thinking, a lot of us were thinking, no, this is not going to.
This judge is not going to sign this, right?
Well, they signed it. I think they went to different judges.
I see.
And but they, I think they did hit all 3 houses. I don't even remember if they got the gun or not. But sometimes there's things that you're just like trying to break something open. And this is going to get thrown out of court. And anything that it leads to could be fruits of the poisonous tree. So you can't really use it. But it's just.
So if it's a weak search warrant and you get something, you might learn something, but you can't use it in court, maybe.
Sometimes,
Gotcha.
Every search warrant is contested. They're all contested. Every physical lineup is contested, which we were, or photo lineup. They have to. That's the lawyer's job. We have to try to make this look bad. But what we would do sometimes is we would have the lawyer. We've done this a few times. We'd have the lawyer and the suspect pick the people they wanted for the physical lineup, get 4 more guys.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we do the physical lineup, bring people in, and the lawyers quit doing that because they realize, well, now we can't contest it. We made it. Because we don't, we figured the person will pick them,
Right.
So
contest yourself after that, right?
Exactly. So they figured out that and they quit doing it.
I want to thank GTO guy. He says, as always, you folks rock. Thank you so much for the $49.99. That is awesome, GTO. We appreciate the support there.
Thank you.
Very sweet of you.
Oh,
so what do you think on that probable cause to get that to take their cameras and phones allegedly? At least this is what they told this to some social media people that they work with closely. and then they eventually leaked it months later. But they kept it secret for a while. But several of them have confirmed that that did happen. So assuming that that's true, which we think it is true, what would that mean to you? Like, does that, what would it, because it's a year later. It seems strange to me. If it was something early on in the investigation, sure, you take the cameras and the phone, but what could have, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's not an answer, but what would spark that a year later?
Maybe just that, look, we've got to try to shake something loose. We've got to jumpstart it. We've got to do something, you know.
Okay.
And, you know, sometimes you'll do something to try to get them talking or make them nervous. Or if you have a suspect, you know, that you want to keep them a little bit on edge, I guess, you know.
So maybe you execute a search warrant just to put them on.
Yeah,
maybe.
or just, yeah, maybe.
Okay.
It's possible. But you know, they still had to have something. You can't just get a search warrant. You've got to have something, you know,
right,
to get it.
Well, we know of another. They had to have. So if I understand this right, too, they did their the trash. They went to that landfill like 2 weeks after the search. You know, the disappearance happened. So I think they had to have a search warrant for that also. We think
for the landfill.
For the landfill.
No, I don't think they'd need a search warrant for the landfill.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, cops go through people's garbage all the time. Once you put it out on the street, it's considered fair game, you know.
Okay.
You can go through it. Now, I don't, and you may remember this more than me. I can't, even though I did kind of work on it a little bit, but the Perry March case, that drug on for a long time.
Yes, it did.
And I know there were things they did. I think they did just to jumpstart it, just to shake something up, you know, just do something. Because you just,
and it did seem like they were kind of doing things like that for, you know, a little over a year. If they're doing stuff now, we don't know about it, you know. What would be things you could do at this point to unnerve your suspects, you know, make them make a mistake? Do you like the idea of trying to get them wrapped up on another crime and see what happens there? Or do you think that works?
What do you mean wrapped up on another crime?
You know, find another crime. There's the case with Daniel Martell, who's suspected in a Jack and Lily disappearance in Nova Scotia. I don't know if you know about this one or not, but it's a 6-year-old brother sister disappears. Similar situation, actually, where people are kind of looking inside the house, and he's the stepdad, and you know, they probably have some narcotics background and all that kind of stuff, and you know, they've locked him up for. Oh, help me.
Was it domestic violence?
Yeah, something like that.
Or like assault, I think, and they're basically saying on the mom of the 2 kids. They think that there was some kind of a domestic violence going on at that time, and they put him up on charges for that, but not the disappearance.
Yeah, and so you know, it kind of feels like, okay, are you doing that to try to get some movement in this other case that's really going nowhere either, the Jack and Lily thing? I don't know if those kind of things work often, or if that's a sound strategy or not.
Well, if somebody that's being looked at is arrested for something else, they'll have somebody in that cell. They'll talk to whoever's in that cell with them.
Sure.
They will pull them out and like, hey, has he said this or that? And has he mentioned anything? And that occasionally works. Sometimes people will say stuff to their cellmate and then again, you got to always consider the fact the cellmate may just be making something up because he's trying to get a break to get out.
I know. I wonder about that a lot, because there's a lot of cases built on those those cellmates, and they've got a lot to gain by making it up.
Absolutely.
Block confessions.
So you got to wonder how strong that is, but you get them in there too, and the phone calls, because they can record and use all that stuff too.
I've seen all of them are recorded. Yeah,
I've seen that used as evidence in some cases, but I do like the idea of putting people under pressure if you can.
Mama's
Especially
World,
this
thank you for the
situation, I
super
think.
chat.
Oh, thank you, Mama's World. She says Chris is even involved his mother's connection in the county to threaten people.
We
So the
haven't
story-
even gotten into this stuff,
Yeah.
but he's been on other social media channels and he says not savory things.
We haven't even played it.
No, I don't even know if we want to get into all of that.
He's
We
a
might need a part 2, part 3.
Dan would have to move in.
he's a loose cannon. I mean, this guy pops off, loses his mind. The stepdad.
The stepfather.
And
also, you need to know that the stepfather and the mother do not communicate with the biological father.
Did
at
they
all.
before any of this? Before
Yes,
didn't
the
they?
very beginning.
Had a co-parenting kind of situation.
At the very beginning, they were the first week, and then after the first week, it just went south, and they have been at each other's throats, kind of.
I think if I understand this right too, that Seth, the biological dad, and Katie have not spoken privately since this happened. Chris has always been around
The
for
middleman.
him. Yeah,
Mhm.
the middleman, or there which to me is like,
Well, and I think that's one of the most big red flags that we've seen so far is what he said to Seth when he called him on the phone after they texted 911 to him.
Ty Lux is also mentioning the Nina interview. This is one of his ex-wives. She did a long interview that
so much
kind of gives you some insight into the family and Chris and the controlling and that kind of thing.
But the stepfather said to the father when he called him, "Don't be mad."
That was the first thing out of his mouth.
The first thing out of his mouth was, "Don't be mad, but Sebastian's missing." I felt like that was a very odd
I feel like we're throwing so much at him.
Seriously, it's crazy.
I know.
Also, Sweet Melissa gifted us 10 memberships. If you received a gifted membership from Sweet Melissa, please tell her thank you.
Thank you for that.
That's very kind of you. And also, Ginger for Ob has been a member for 17 months, and she says, "Love the E family," and we love you right back. Thank you. And Sasha sent us a super sticker.
Thank you, Sasha. Very sweet
Thank
of you.
you guys so much.
You guys are very nice. We appreciate that.
We have a great community here. We have very smart people.
Yes, they ask lots of good questions.
And there was a question here that I want answered from Sarah, 1976.
Okay.
And she said, "Why would SEO turn down help from others in this case?"
So there've been some other outside investigators,
Cold Case Foundation,
There's the
dog.
Cold Case Foundation. There's groups that have offered assistance, and they've turned it down so far.
There's probably on the law enforcement end, even though there's some absolutely phenomenal investigators that are civilian, like Dog's one of them. I mean, he tracked down several people.
And
But
the U.S. Marshals. They turned that down too.
Yeah, they did.
That's different. I don't know. I have no idea.
I know.
And that's the sheriff's department turning them down.
It's because it happened outside of city limits. The sheriff's department has run from beginning on, because it wasn't actually in Hendersonville. It was out in out of the city, out in the county.
They have had assistance with TBI, but I don't know how much FBI has been involved.
We know that the CARD team came in at the beginning, which is like their child. I can't remember what it stands for, but it's a child abduction response team, I think is what it stands for. They were involved at the beginning, but we don't know what And we know that somehow it became an Amber Alert on February 27th. So they found something that made it go from endangered child to Amber Alert the next day. Because we don't automatically make like special needs kids Amber Alerts. They're very rare here.
That's funny. GTO guy said, "Can I call him Lieutenant Dan?"
Sure.
And Ty Base, member for 12 months. Thank you, Ty Base, says, "Poor Dan, info by fire hose. Thank you for tonight."
Right.
It's just so much.
It really is a ton.
I wished I had followed it earlier when you first started on this, because I watched some of them, but then I get off in so many directions.
Sure. It's a lot.
But yeah, that's a lot of information y'all have gathered up.
And we gave you maybe about 6%.
I was going to say a quarter.
I mean, because they have actually done a lot of interviews. And so we've gone through and broken down every look, like you were talking about the past tense and how you phrase certain things, looking for all that. And there's a lot of those red flags in there. I want to play a little bit of Dan. Is you okay if we do this?
Sure.
Do you mind? So if you missed us here at the beginning, Dan, of course, works as a detective with Nashville for the majority of his career, but for 14 years. But in the meantime, before he retired, he was doing stand-up comedy, and now he is a stand-up comedian full-time. At one point, he was won a contest for World's Funniest Cop, and he's done all kinds of great fun gigs over the years. This one was very cool. This was actually filmed here in Sumner County at the Huckabee Show, and Dan regularly was like a warm-up guy for the show, and then did some guest appearances. I don't know. Is this showing on the stream?
No.
Oh, it's not. Okay, well, let me pull it up. So this is, I don't know what year this is from. This is before the beard.
Yeah.
So it's at least 3 years or older.
Whoops. I was trying to do something else.
So I'm going to play a little bit of Dan here on the Huckabee Show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And just to clear something up, I did not retire from the police department. I was injured in the line of duty. I like to consider myself one of the unsung heroes of police work. What happened? We had an armed robbery right downtown Nashville. 2 suspects, according to witnesses, had fled into the parking garage at 2nd and Commerce. My partner and I, we drive to the top of the parking garage. We're in plain clothes, unmarked car. We turn our walkie-talkies down real quiet, and we're going to sneak down the stairwell 1 floor at a time and find these guys. We step into the first stairwell, and I hear my partner go, "Hey, look at that." And I look over, and hanging upside down from the wall, asleep, is a little bat. Yeah, just hanging there. I guess they do that. I don't know. And I said, "That's pretty cool." And then he said, "I bet you won't touch it." "I bet I will, because I'm a man." Now I knew I had touched that bat. So I just gritted my teeth and I reached out like this. And right when my finger made contact with the hair on his back, he came off the wall like this and did a barrel roll and rubbed his belly right across the side of my face. And I screamed and fell down 4 flights of stairs.
I love Huckabee laughing in the back.
Yep. That ain't the way you want to end your police career right there, I'll just tell you. I'll never forget riding into Baptist Hospital in the back of the ambulance. Paramedics like, "What happened to you, young man?" "Street gang jumped me and beat me with a bat."
So anyway, that's a little bit of Dan there on the Huckabee
great.
Show. You've got some gigs coming up. You work a lot with comedian Killer Bees.
Killer Bees, yeah.
And in March, I know you've got you're doing South Pittsburgh.
I think it's called Princess Theater.
Princess Theater.
And then That's the 14th, and then the Comedy Catch the 26th, 7th, and 8th, I believe, in Chattanooga.
Yeah. So there's a few things you got coming up next month. So if you're in that area and you'd like to catch Dan, Killer Bees, if you don't know him as a comic, he's hilarious. Also,
Killer Bees is a legend. Been doing it 43 years.
Yeah. Save up. And the whole thing. He's a good guy. So if you'd like to catch Dan, there's the opportunity to do that if you're in those areas. And best place to find you is where, like, if someone wanted to follow you on social media, what's the best place to do it?
I would say probably I do have Dan Whitehurst Comedian is a Facebook page, and I try to put my dates on there.
Okay.
Now, as far as my website, I don't even know if it's even active anymore because that's not your password.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can't use that password because that was your password. You know how it goes.
Yes.
I'm not real computer literate, so
we need to help you with that. Well, Mrs. E needs to help you with that.
Yeah.
We've got several requests for Dan to come back. We have E-Family. I think Dan needs a monthly spot on this show. He's great. Thanks, guys. You all rock.
Well, we obviously we want to have you back.
I
think this is a lot of fun. I love to hear your perspective on. It's good to see you anyway.
Yeah.
But it's fun to be able to ask you the questions because we don't, we haven't lived that life. We don't have that experience. We don't.
Well, I've enjoyed this, and I mean, I had so little knowledge of this, and I know there's a whole lot more. So I would be glad to anytime.
Okay. All right, cool. We'll catch you in between gigs somewhere and do it.
Sure.
Junior said he's going to go back and watch the whole show.
Well, he can take my place because he seems to add a lot more than I do.
I keep thinking about that beard because you said you've been growing this out a little over 2 years.
Yeah.
How useful would this have been doing undercover work?
I had a pretty good beard when I was in undercover.
Oh, you did?
work.
Okay.
I would draw jailhouse tattoos on my fingers.
Pain.
Yeah. I had a jail ID made.
Oh, okay.
A real jail ID because I went in the booking room and had it made, and I would have that laying in the floorboard of my car if somebody got in.
Yeah.
And, I will tell you a funny story that's in that book. And the book will be ready in by April. It should be totally done. Matter of fact, I'm meeting with them Friday. But this was a true story, and it's the chapter, Sometimes I'm Not a Nice Person. But I had been buying dope in the project, sometimes 4 and 5 times a day. And I have bought from the same guy before, arrested him. And then 9 months later, again, he'd be looking at me, aren't you police? Nope. But
great.
We were going into projects to buy, and they wanted, at one point they run 2 to a car for safety purposes. But after so many people got snatched up, it's like 2 people's cops. So they wouldn't sell to 2 people. So we went to 1, and I'd been doing 1 for probably a year. And I was getting to the point where it was still exciting, but it wasn't terrifying.
Yeah.
But an officer that was a good officer, very good search warrant guy and everything. And he was always the backup, one of the guys that, surrounded, but he was going to ride with me because they wanted the backup officers to see what it's like to be in the car when they swarm the car and everything. So we're heading into and this is terrible, and I admit it's terrible, but we're heading into the projects, driving down there, and he goes, and I know he's nervous because I was terrified my first few times. He goes, man, you ever worry about getting shot doing this? I just looked at him. I said, I've always wanted to get shot doing this. He said, are you crazy? I said, I don't want to get killed. I just want to get shot. And he goes, why do you want to get shot? And I said, so when people ask me about it, I can say, I don't talk about it. we're turning into the projects, and the guys are coming off the porches. Here they come.
Right.
They're in that full sprint because they're competing.
Yes. Yes.
And I said, I've always wanted to have a partner shot too. Up until that day, I had never been robbed. I got robbed that day.
Oh, really?
But the guy, it's one of them where I'm showing him the money and he reaches in the car and grabs the money, and I grab his wrist like this.
Yeah.
And I've got a death grip on his wrist. And the guy, he's hollering, let go. And his buddy comes running up. He's hollering, let him go. And my partner's yelling, let him go. But I'm looking at the other guy and he never pulls his gun. You know, he does this. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, you ain't got a gun. You do not have a gun. If he would have pulled it, heck yeah, I'd let him go. But I was convinced he didn't have a gun.
Your instincts were right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. He never pulled it, so he never had it. But he wound up getting loose. But we had it on video, you know, because we had a cooler with a little pinhole in it, and it would shine out, and it got him. I had another one time. A guy said, "Nah, man, you're going to have to get out of the car." I said, "All right." And I rolled the window down. As I'm getting out, I turned and I said, because the car was wired, I wasn't wired, and I just said, "I got to get out of the car," which means hopefully they'll get a visual on me, because you couldn't get close enough to get a visual. You just had to go by listening to what's being said.
Yeah.
And I get out of the car. There's an old beat up, we're in the projects, there's an old beat up car with no wheels on it sitting there, and he's on one side, I'm on the other. He said, "You put the money on the trunk, I'll put the dope on the trunk." And I said, "No." I said, "I want to taste it and make sure it's good first." So he put the dope on the trunk. I pick it up. I pretend like I'm tasting it. Well, now I've got the problem of I'm not going to be able to catch him, you know, because he's probably going to be faster than me, and he's on the other side of the car.
Yeah.
And he said, "Give me the money." And I said, "No, I don't think this is any good." And he said, "Then give it back." And I said, "No, I think I'll keep it." And I'm backing up to my car, and he reaches down and picks up a rock, a big old rock, and he throws it at me, and he misses me.
Yeah.
Then he puts his hand behind his back, and he says, "I got a gun." Well, my brain's saying, "No, you don't, because you wouldn't have thrown the rock if you had a gun."
Yeah.
By now, I'm standing right next to my lowered window, and he said, "I'll shoot you." And I said, "You're going to shoot me?" And you hear, woo, woo, you know, the car is coming in, and he turns to look at who's coming. And I pulled my pistol out of my back, and I hit him right in the temple, and the magazine flew right out of the gun. Then he takes off running. I'm chasing him through the projects, and I've got one bullet in it, you know, in the chamber, but I don't have any magazine. It's laying down there. And we chased him all around. We wound up catching him, but that was an exciting event.
Yes. Yes. What did your partner think later? Did he think your joke was funny later?
No, he didn't.
When he
think it was
never
funny.
did.
He didn't think. And I've got a picture at home. I've got a picture of my hand and his hand. That's all you see is my hand and his hand like this.
Uh-huh.
And I showed it to Bill Adams, the guy that owns the comedy club in Arkansas.
Okay. Yeah.
And I told him that story, and he probably didn't think it was very nice of me either, because Bill, the first time me and Dusty flew with Bill up to his club, Dusty reminded me that Bill has had 2 heart attacks. And I was like, "Oh yeah, man, I forgot about that."
Your pilot.
The pilot
Yes.
had 2 heart attacks. So I got on YouTube and Googled how to land a Cessna and sent it to Dusty. And I said, "Oh, we got this."
We got it. Yeah.
But flying up there, Bill is flying along, and I'm sitting in the front seat, and he grabs his chest and screamed, you know, and I just like, and then he started laughing. And I was like, you know, I probably deserved
that. Was probably yes.
Yeah.
You kind of put that out there and you got it back.
I got it back.
You?
Yeah.
You did.
I mean, I didn't like it, but I did deserve it.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you doing this with us tonight. I don't want to keep you out all night. I know you got to go back, but I think this is a lot of fun to me. If you want to do this again, I think everybody loved having you here. So we'll figure out a time we can squeeze in your schedule between your
a lot of
gigs.
free time, mostly in the middle of the week. You know,
Okay.
Weekends. But
I thought this was great, Mrs. E. Did we have any other questions that we had for Dan that you wanted to do before we let him go?
I think we've overwhelmed Dan tonight already.
We gotta give you a simpler case next time. This one's wild. I mean, this one's just got a lot.
It's got a whole lot, and I'm curious about all the other stuff I hadn't seen on it. You know?
Oh,
you all are going to have to email him lots
to
of
do it in
stuff.
tiny segments.
Yeah.
The original few months of interviews are they're loaded with stuff.
Is there a site that's got all just the interviews?
Yeah. Not really. Is there? I don't think
No.
so.
Dan, I'll gather some stuff for you.
Mrs. will send you some stuff if you're just kind of curious, but it's been a fascinating case because you just really can't quite figure out how he got out of that house.
Right.
And with today being the 2-year anniversary of the last sighting.
Yeah.
And you never let go of them things, the ones that aren't solved, you know. I mean, I don't remember any of that. Well, we had that little girl, Marsha Trimble. You know?
Marsha Trimble, sure.
Yeah. I think that wound up getting solved, though.
I might be getting mixed up. Is Marsha Trimble? Is that the one out in Green Hills area?
Yes, I think that
they did. It took a long time,
Yeah.
but they did eventually DNA solve that one.
Yeah.
Sasha says, simpler, LOL, like the Guthrie case.
Yeah. Well, you've been following Nancy Guthrie
a little bit, yeah.
We could do that one
My
next
mom's
time.
been doing more of it than me. She's been watching it. Yeah.
There's a lot happened today. They had it looked like about 10 FBI that went into the house inside and stayed in there for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
And he watches it around the clock.
I just leave it on my television. There's all kinds of YouTubers there live. I just leave it on all day.
It's hard to understand that case does not. It's similar to this one in that way, where there's just enough to kind of be suspicious, but you can't quite wrap your head around exactly how it happened. You know, like when you look in Sebastian's neighborhood, there's just no way to get out of there without being caught by cameras.
Oh, we've got footage of that too, but I didn't want to overwhelm him. So
it's just, and there's a lot of good cameras in that neighborhood. And there's, you'd have to go right by the school this way. You go by license plate readers this way. They're in the middle of the neighborhood. They're surrounded by awesome security cameras. How did this kid get out of there with no? How do we not know exactly which vehicle took him? So it's hard to figure out. But we do know. There's a lot of things that are big red flags, but not enough to really say definitively what happened to him, but yeah, and this is the 2-year anniversary, so there was a lot of interest, and a lot of these folks have been following this case with us
since the very beginning. Well, I mean, it's kind of why we started the show was because of this case.
Well,
we talked about it all the time, so we thought, we'll just talk about it online.
What is so good is you've got all these people that have been following this for so long that come in here, throw little things out.
Yes.
That it's unbelievable how much they can do.
Oh,
you can't take any of that for granted, because if you look at my argument about even though I work for the police department, work for the government, I'm not a big government guy.
Sure.
For instance, if you took every sex abuse group in every metropolitan police department, they're going to make less arrests than, oh, what's his name? That have a seat, you know. Remember that guy? What was it? To Catch a Predator.
Oh yeah, Hansen, Chris
Private
Hansen,
entity guy, Chris Hansen. He comes out, he smokes all of them. He's a civilian,
right?
You know,
right.
You got all these agencies with all these detectives. He goes out and gets a whole lot more. You know, the innovation. You know, that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, and hopefully the law enforcement, you know, uses whatever they can get on this case, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they do. I'm sure they got somebody following up on this stuff.
I mean, a lot of people are frustrated with it, of course. You know, it's been 2 years, and I understand. I am in the minority, and I don't think that this has ever been like a corruption kind of thing. I've just always thought, my belief is that they have been working hard on the case. They're just stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And they just need that final thing to get them there, and they can't get there for whatever reason. They're just missing enough to make.
And there's cases out there where law enforcement knows exactly what happened
Mm-hmm.
and exactly who did it, but they can't prove it.
Right.
You know, and you just get that one shot at it, you know.
Right. The double jeopardy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's real.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to go for it, and I've heard guys talk about, you know, your DA makes a difference if they're, you know, maybe the sheriff's department feels confident, the DA's got cold feet on it, and they need more,
right?
You know, so it's but we don't know. We don't know if that's the situation or not. It's just my gut feeling on it.
You hear those, you know, when DAs run for office, they'll generally have 100% conviction rate.
Yeah.
Well, they get to pick and choose. I'm not taking this one.
You can take this one. Right.
Give that to the flunky. You know?
Our friend Busby has a good question real quick.
Busby from True Crime Network, who's always been very great to us, says, can Detective Dan tell us if Tennessee requires a body to charge someone?
I don't think so.
With homicide or something, I think there are ways, but the person has to be legally declared dead. And there are ways of a person being legally declared dead without a body. There's some hoops you got to jump through, but yeah, I think you could charge somebody without a body. It's much harder, but it has to go through the courts and be declared that the person is deceased.
What about that young boy? Why can't it's escaping me?
Joe Clyde Daniels.
Yes.
Is a no body conviction here.
But
that one where
his father didn't he at first admit to it?
Oh yeah, he never said what he did with him.
Yeah, they don't know where the body is still.
Find the body. Yeah.
I think he tried to take back the confession, but he did eventually confess. And they still
that
haven't
would be different too, right? Well, in Kentucky, we know with Crystal Rogers, they never found a body, and they did not get a confession, but they got a conviction.
Right.
Yeah, it makes it harder, but it can be done. Yeah.
Of course, in this case, we don't even know really what happened to Sebastian or not.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
I mean, I think 2 years, a lot of people think he's not, but we don't know that.
Yeah.
We don't know that he wasn't taken somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Can't prove it, you know. But anyway, this has been awesome, Dan. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good excuse to have you come over and hang out, you know. Maybe next time we'll get you out here early and have dinner before and kind of make it a little more social before we get right into the podcast.
Well, I enjoyed this, and great to meet everybody see everybody again. I knew all of you.
Yeah, everybody's wanting you back, so this is great.
We got a lot of fans already.
I've got a couple of announcements before we wrap it up.
Sure.
Tomorrow, the Gathering of Voices is meeting in front of Sumner County Sheriff's Office. They'll be there all day. And I'm sure if anybody's in the area, they would love your support. That's being run by our friend Bullhorn Betty. And also, Auntie doesn't know this one. Tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
We are going live once again. I know, back to back. I know it's crazy. Tomorrow night, our friend Josh from the lab will be joining us. And we will be doing our red flags episode. We will be talking about red flags in the Sebastian Rogers case.
So actually, I hadn't heard back from Josh yet, but he texted back, said whatever time we want to go is fine tomorrow night.
So we will.
He said whatever our typical time is, so we could do a 6 or 7 or something like that if he's up for that.
And Betty said cake at 2 p.m. tomorrow for those. She did order a sheet cake, so they will have cake at the Gathering.
Oh, is Betty here?
No, somebody else put it up, but I heard her say it on her live that they would have cake at 2. It was Peace Love Jeep said that Betty said 2 for cake.
And everyone's asking if we will be out there tomorrow. We will be out there at some point. I'm not sure what time. We were going to go out there today, but we had to go to the hospital with Middle E. He is doing okay, but he is, he was not feeling well. So we had to, take care of that. So
Dan, I don't know if you're seeing the chat or not, but you're getting tons of thank yous and lots of people appreciate you joining us.
Yeah,
so
thank you. That's means a lot. Thank you very much.
But thank you guys, and make sure you check out Bullhorn Betty tomorrow afternoon and support the awareness effort there.
And here's Dan's link once again. You guys go over there and sub up to Dan on his Facebook.
Yeah.
And also had a chance to like our video tonight. We only had a couple hundred likes, but we had over 400 watching. So please don't forget to like us before you leave us.
Yeah, if you'd like to see Dan in person doing the shows, you travel pretty much everywhere. A lot of Southeast, Midwest, that kind of thing. So a lot of that region.
We can put Dan's dates up on
Ohio last week. Yeah.
We can put his dates up on our page too.
Yeah, that would be great.
And
that'd be funny if somebody would say, "Hey, I saw you on the Mr. E crime."
The person that
let me know if that happens, Yeah.
The person that sent us a Cash App, thank you very much. I don't want names on there, so I don't want to say that. But thank you.
We got a lot of super chats and things like that tonight. We do appreciate that. That was very sweet of you.
And thank you to our sweet moderators who've been helping us keep everything not so rowdy in chat. And there's one of our besties. The Real Me Too says, "Great live. Thank you, Dan."
All right. Thank you.
And thank you for 20 months. I didn't even know we had a channel that long. Oh, well, hi, Alicia.
Yes, join us on the replay.
And if you are watching us on the replay, it would be great if you could hit that hype. It apparently is working now.
Yeah, it's been working. The hype button's been working.
And Neuro's been a member for 7 months. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Neuro.
And you guys, we appreciate you all so much. Oh, Rob Beanie followed you. Here we go.
All right, so we're growing that Facebook account for you, Dan. People are following.
We'll work on it. Well, thank you guys so much, and we appreciate you all. Anything else, guys?
That's it.
All right.
Thank you, Auntie.
You all have a great night, and we'll talk to you
tomorrow night.
We remember you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. We'll shine a light for you.